It was an ugly day and night for all the local pro teams yesterday. The Bruins lost to Carolina 4-1 at TD Garden, ending a 4-game winning streak. Andrei Svechnikov picked up the puck with the blade of his stick behind the Bruins net and stuffed it in top corner for one of the goals for the Hurricanes. Pyotr Kochetkov added 22 saves in net. Florida beat Ottawa last night 2-0, so the Bruins division lead is 3 points with 3 to go. They're off until Saturday night when they go to Pittsburgh. The Celtics were without both Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis. They were beaten in Milwaukee 104-91. That ended Joe Mazzulla's 5-game winning streak.
I thought it was more of our offense first half. Some points defensively, but for the most part I thought we just had too many empty possessions on the offensive end.
Jason Tatum scored 22 points for the Green. They became the first team in NBA history to go an entire game without attempting a free throw. The Bucks won the game, but they lost Giannis Antetokounmpo to a non-contact leg injury in the third quarter. Team says it's a strained left calf muscle. The Celtics host the Knicks tomorrow night. Red Sox lost a lot of things yesterday. First, they committed a pair of errors. They lost their home opener 7-1 to Baltimore. Colton Cowser drove in 4 runs for the winners. Before the game, the team announced Trevor Story has a fractured bone as well as a dislocated shoulder. He'll undergo surgery Friday. He's expected to miss the rest of the season. Nick Pivetta was also placed on the injured list with a right elbow flexor strain. The Sox and Orioles play again tonight, and the visitors have reportedly called up the top prospect in the majors, infielder Jackson Holliday. And the tee times for the Masters were announced yesterday. Defending champion John Rahm will go off at 10:30 tomorrow morning. The favorite Scotty Scheffler will begin right after him at 10:42, and Tiger Woods' tee time is 1:24. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Rapid Flow Sewer and Drain Cleaning. Spring is coming. Time to see if a tree root is growing through your sewer line. Do what Beetle did. Call 800-286-FLOW or visit rapidflowinc.com. With Rapid Flow, one call solves it all. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
It's not just the games. It's the preseason, the postseason, the drafts, the trades, front office drama, the locker room banter, and you talking all about
blah,
it.
blah, 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 blah.
On Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Half toucher.
Dressed like a gorilla.
Half Hardy.
A big, beautiful ball of flame.
And a whole lot of Boston sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider.
Fred, hello. Hello. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. 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 Hello.
He's naked. He has a sword.
Let's talk about cheese.
Bruins are back from the West Coast.
What the
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Welcome to the show, you sweet bitch.
Bow chicka wow wow, chicka wow wow, bow chicka wow wow. Ha 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 ha.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Is there a reason the television lights are on?
We were just discussing that.
Yeah, we don't know.
I have no idea. They were on when I got in, and we, of course, the smart move was not to give us any control over them at all, so we have no way of turning them off.
I didn't bring a hat today. And if you don't know, they're blinding. You could get away with a hat and no sunglasses, but you can't get away with... you could get away with a hat and then not having sunglasses, or sunglasses and not having a hat.
Right.
But you can't not have two of them.
Yeah, I mean, I got used to it, I think, for so long that I don't... This actually feels more normal to me. When I first started coming here and do the show, those many months ago, I thought, how do you guys work in here when it's so dark? It did seem very dark in here.
Me and Wallach, though, have two spotlights sitting. He has one in his eyes, and I have one in my eyes.
I used to sit right where Wallach did for years.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me.
No, it sucks.
Zolak, it bothers to the point where he is forced to wear protective eyewear not only while he's here, but at all other times as well. So he's very, very sensitive to the light and cannot handle not wearing sunglasses ever. It's affected him perpetually. Hey!
And now we're all safe. Josh Fowler in 4 hours early has turned the lights off.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Josh Fowler, who used to run our show on NBC Sports Boston, called my phone by accident on Sunday or Saturday, and it was Saturday, and for no big deal. It was no big deal. Like it rang like once, and then it went away.
Right.
And then he sent this like very apologetic text, like, "I'm so sorry."
How long was it? How long was the text? I'm betting about 7 sentences.
It was like just like really apologetic, and then like because I told him, I'm like, "Hey, get us back on TV. I'll take the money." But I don't think he ultimately makes that decision. If you want to know the core truth, I can't find it. But yeah, it was funny. He's like, "I'm so sorry." I said, "I'm like, dude, just call. It's no big deal." So yesterday was the Red Sox opening day, and we'll have audio from that, including Hardy has a very special friend that he talked to.
I do.
And Hardy, though, you went to the game.
Was already downtown speaking with my special friend, and the plan was to go down there early, speak with my special friend, and then drive over to the park where Marcy was hosting clients, and I was
your wife.
Yes, I was very lucky to be invited along to go to the home opener, and this will be great. You know, it's like one of these plans. Let's have a plan. I love having a plan, you know, for going somewhere and doing something and having times and how this is going to work. I love a plan. So the plan was to be back bay around noon, take care of the stuff that we had to, and then make it over to the park in plenty of time. They wanted everyone in their seats by 1:30 yesterday. I'm like, oh, shoosh, no problem. We're 2 miles away. I'll be done by 12:45. We'll be there early. We'll have time to kill, which I don't love, but, you know, not running late is my favorite. Ran a little late at the first appointment, and then started the drive from the back bay over to Fenway. How long do you think it took us to get from, let's call it Gloucester and Newbury Street to Fenway Park?
Oh. 40
Driving.
minutes. 40 minutes.
3 minutes.
35 minutes. Okay? Like, couldn't get there. Yet there's no way to get there.
It's like 7 blocks.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's 125. We're in one of those like little back streets. You know, I call them the Chachi streets. Chachi knew all the back streets.
Yeah, I did. Oh, I used to go out there with La Cordera, and don't ask me what I did with Pereno.
He had a lot of special friends too. Pereno did.
Oh, he had a mustache, and now looking back, we should have known.
I love HARIG balls.
Yeah.
So we get like pretty close, you know, one of those back side streets, whatever. And I say to my wife, I'm like, look, and she was driving. I said, we gotta get out. I will take the car. I will find a place to park. You go in. You have people that you have to meet there. You have to be there first. You have to host. Okay. She said, you'll find a place to park? I said, of course. Come on. Yeah. Daddy's got this.
Sure you do.
Don't you worry. Yep. So I continued to sit on that same street for about 10 more minutes, and it's just gridlock. Nobody's moving. And got up to Brookline Ave, where everybody is somehow banging a left. I don't know where they're going after that, but that's like right up near the cask. Now you're getting close to the cask. Like, what do you do once you get up there? There's nowhere to go. I assume that the Red Sox parking lot, the one across Brookline Ave from Fenway Park, is not going to be open.
Right.
It's going to be full. There's no other parking around there.
You have to go to the hospitals.
Well, okay, Fred, bingo. You're smart guy, all right? There was one garage, by the way, that, you know, I'm driving not a big SUV. This is not a Suburban. This is a borderline station wagon SUV. And the guy looks at me, he's like, oh, no, you can't park that in here. I'm like, yes, how silly of me. In 2024, you'd be able to park a small to mid-size SUV in a parking garage in a major city in the United States.
Right.
I'm the a-hole. You're right. I'll keep going, sir.
I don't
Thank
want
you.
your $80. You
Yeah,
can continue on.
It was $100. It was $100 to park in that garage. And
Zolak paid $80 to park. I know that.
Yeah, he said, go screw. I said, okay. All right.
$100.
I'll go over to Longwood. How am I going to get there? How am I getting there? Okay. I get up to Com Ave and start driving down. I make it down as I'm like, there's no way to even get to the left. You can't move. I finally get down to BU, to the place where you can pull like a U-turn.
Go around.
And start going back the other way. My Waze is going crazy. I'm not even following the maps. I'm on pure instinct at this point. Finally, I loop around and head toward Longwood. Fred, you and I have the exact same thought. Do you know where I ended up parking? I'm not going to tell you. But it is my new secret spot to park. It was on-street parking. I got a place to park for $10 for the entire day. It ended up being, let's call it a 20-minute walk.
I know exactly where you parked.
A 20-minute
I parked there,
walk.
too.
Okay, you and I will talk about it off the air.
No problem.
Wallach.
I know exactly where that is.
But I think now I know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, once got out, at that point in the city, there's only one way to get home from there back to Canton, and that is Riverway, baby. You're going Riverway, Jamaica Way.
Mm-hmm.
You're going Morton Street. You're going Mattapan. You're going straight down 138. No highways for you, kid.
Mm-hmm.
How long to get back to Canton after that game?
An hour and 20 minutes.
Hour 10.
Yeah. I know these roads well.
This is what I say to my wife. I'm like, this is why I never want to go anywhere. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And the game was great. I enjoy baseball. I like going to Fenway. I like going to baseball games. I like going so much more than I like watching them on TV. I enjoy watching the game. I wish I could have watched more of it yesterday, but there's a lot of, conversing that goes on and a lot of stuff like that. And I enjoyed that too. But the whole notion of going anywhere is such a pain in the ass in this town. And I know we're not the only city with traffic, but holy crap, we're supposed to go to something Thursday night. I said, you realize it's 3 hours of driving there and back, 90 minutes there, 90 minutes back for a 2-hour event. It doesn't make any sense. I don't want to do it.
Where's the event that's 2 hours away?
Encore on Thursday night. And to get there at 6 o'clock, I said we're going to have to leave at 4:30.
What's going on at Encore?
6 o'clock.
I think it's a restaurant thing with some athletes or something. I'm not sure. I'll find out. It sounds like a great event. And you know what? I'll probably end up going. I'll probably end up going.
There's no way you would catch me trying to get into Boston to that place at 6 o'clock on a weeknight.
If it were Boston, that's fine. But it's like, once you get to Boston, it's like the fun has just begun. Now you get to go through tunnels and bridges and go to Everett.
There's no back road. There's no short way. There's no chachi route to get there.
But it's the best kind of traffic to get stuck in because you see the Encore on the horizon and all the beauty that surrounds it.
That's right.
Ooh, a slaughterhouse. A place where they keep old fish parts.
Yeah, look at those power lines. That's superb.
Yes.
A tool and die shop. I didn't know they still had those.
Ooh, an industrial hellhole. Thank you.
But that big black building is pretty.
Yeah. Pretty boring.
Dan just brought up a good point. This was the summer that... It was this one? This summer is the one that Boston put the bid in for the Olympics.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It would be starting in 2 months. That's a good point. Everyone wanted it this year.
No, not every. I don't know many people that wanted it.
Well, no, I mean, but that was the point. The people who wanted it wanted it this year.
I know 2 people who wanted it. Felger, because for whatever reason, and I think his reasons are genuine, but he just wants, to try things before he immediately dismisses them. And it's like, okay, that's fine. That's
more time with the Kennedys, perhaps more of the people he summers with in Nantucket here in town.
Perhaps. No, I think it's an admirable quality. He's not automatically going to poo-poo something just because he thinks it wouldn't work.
That's not a quality of his.
Oh, I think it is.
Oh, I don't think so at all. The other day I heard him say he was very upset at Nirvana for not giving Pearl Jam enough credit, and he said, way to go, just go do heroin and kill yourself.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Oh,
that doesn't sound like him at all.
I know he's not a Kurt Cobain fan. No, but the only other person I knew who wanted the Olympics was a friend of mine who owns a paving company. I'm like, oh, of course you do. Of course, because there are going to be massive contracts to, fix things.
Paved Paradise, put up a parking lot, man.
You said it, brother. You
So
said
that's
it.
who she was singing at, that friend of yours. I hope he can sleep at night.
Well, you didn't get it.
This hour of the Toucher and Hardy Show is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You watch Toucher and Hardy every morning on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe to keep up to date with the best moments from Boston's home for sports. Nicholas makes videos out of the show during the show, and then he puts them up on our Instagram, at Toucher and Hardy, at Fred Toucher, at, I suppose, Hardy.
Oh.
At Ken
I think I'm at Hardy985 on Instagram.
Just a random collection of numbers.
Yeah, 985 is a random collection of numbers.
It's like now we all know how to get into his master lock. 985. And John's is what? Yours is
John Wallach 24 on Instagram.
Now that's random.
No, 24 was Ken Griffey Jr.
Correct. Not random at all.
No, I mean if
It's
anyone,
very specific.
if
In
anyone's
fact,
looking for him, they know where to go.
very specific.
It's Ken Griffey Jr. States he had so much success with the Twitter, he didn't want to get.
No, we're
he
not
didn't want
giving
to get
that
away
up.
with it.
No.
I mean, it's his brand. You know how many people took? Was Ken Griffey Rules gone?
What do you mean? Oh no, I didn't. I didn't even
Okay.
look.
What I've never asked Wallach, and perhaps we could do this later on the show today. What are the Ken Griffey rules, and why did you find it necessary to name your entire online persona after them?
1, pal around with your dad. 2, wear your hat backwards. 3, have a smile that lights up a building. 4, be every kid's idol.
Those are the rules.
Those are the rules.
and need to be followed.
Okay.
At all times.
5, play in a city that can only be get to real difficultly, where you got to buy hats.
That's right. That's correct.
He's got a cracking hat on today.
right now.
Look where I was.
That's right. I was
Seattle,
was
Washington.
in Seattle.
Far away from here.
That's right.
Real long plane ride.
It's my brand.
Far away.
So we don't even need to have the discussion. Problem solved.
Yeah, we're done.
All done.
Okay.
What discussion?
About the Ken Griffey rules.
What are the Ken Griffey rules?
Don't need to have that
Fred
discussion
Fred
now.
knew him off the top of his noodle.
You've cracked the code. It's
Thank
all
you.
done.
Well, I ain't no
Well
dummy.
done. Yep.
All right. When we come back, the Bruins played, the Celtics played. They both lost, but did the Milwaukee Bucks lose more?
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, so we are Toucher and Hardy. And Hardy, what do you want to go to first?
Well, I think the big story of the night has to do with the secondary loss. Not necessarily the Celtics loss, my friend. Although they did lose pretty soundly to the Bucks last night. Down 20 early, down 23 at one point in the first half. Yeah. It's not a game that really felt needed to watch. It was one of those games where I looked and said, is Tatum playing? Is everybody playing? Is Brown playing? Is everybody in? For the most part, they had what they needed in Milwaukee last night, except for two things: points and any love from the officials whatsoever. As for the first time in NBA history, Fred, there were no free throws attempted by a team. Not one. I didn't even know how to get this thing to turn off. Good grief. Celtics did not attempt a free throw last night, and that has never happened before in an NBA game. I couldn't believe that in the history of the NBA. That's never happened. Wait a second, that's never happened, Wallach?
The refs called a total of, let me see, I'm counting them up here. 12 fouls total.
That's good.
There were 2 free throws total for the game. I mean, the Celtics didn't have any. Milwaukee only had 2. So I mean, it was as if the refs are like, all right, this is the end of the season. We don't want to be here in Milwaukee. Let's get this over quickly.
Yeah, I wish they had called more fouls.
Said nobody.
Yeah, nice April end of the regular season game. Start with the fouls. Come on.
Yeah, right.
What's going on?
It's just kind of unbelievable that either the Celtics never drove the paint, never got touched when they were attempting something underneath the basket. Nope, didn't happen last night.
It was
not
really
once.
funny because in the first half they were beating the crap out of each other, and the refs wouldn't call anything. It was really funny to watch, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's something to be said for that, just from an enjoyment standpoint. The Bucks would go on to win 104-91, but as you said, Fred Toucher, did they lose in the process?
We're keeping an eye on Giannis here. He just sat down on the floor and kind of looking at his left lower leg. So this is something no Bucks fan wants to see, as Giannis gingerly gets to his feet. We'll take a timeout.
Now, obviously, Giannis is the most important player on the only team to beat the Celtics multiple times by double digits this year. So
non-contact too, just running back up the floor and stopped and sat down. That's got to be a little scary. A little scary.
Yeah, but it's a left soulless train, which is the opposite of me because I got soul.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess Damian Lillard has had this in the past, so he talked about how you can't put any weight on it, and it's kind of scary, but it's a calf injury, and they were talking about him possibly coming back for the next game this morning, so they'll do an MRI. I highly doubt he'll come back and play again in the regular season, but it's not like he tore his ACL or ripped his shoulder off or tore a pectoral. I mean, he's strained a calf muscle. I have to imagine that's something that can be worked on.
They tend to linger, Fred. They linger.
Yeah,
That's
but you
what
can
they
play
do.
through it.
It won't be full speed.
Is that what you're hoping for? You hope one of the biggest stars in the league isn't fair for your precious sport?
Anything that makes it easier for the Celtics, yes. That's correct.
You would like them to just walk into. You probably wish everyone's plane went down so they didn't have to play anything.
That's a sensical jump you can make. Yeah, that one goes right to the other. Yes.
Well, if you're rooting for injuries, John, you really just don't care about the people.
That's my
JON at 985thesportshub.com. He's glad Giannis is hurt.
Well, Wallach, turn the whatever side of your headphones that actually do anything down, because Doc Rivers is going to be talking about the hopeful health of Giannis.
Yeah, they're testing him for the calf right now, which obviously MRI. Oh, he just left a little while ago.
All right, so yeah.
By the way, can we give it up for Doc Rivers? What a coaching job he's done since he's been in there.
17 and 18.
They've lost to before that Celtics win.
Yeah.
They lost to the Knicks. Knicks are a pretty good team, and they only lost to them by 13.
Knicks without Julius Randle, by the way.
That's not important.
Okay.
Then they lost to the Raptors, who up to that point had only been losing, so they did them that favor. Then they lost to the Grizzlies, who, John, I don't know if you're following it, but are not the same team they were before.
They're missing a few people.
Well, don't they have Marcus Smart?
The Wizards have crafted a spell of being awful. They lost to them. So they had lost 4 in a row before this game, including the Wizards, Grizzlies, and Raptors. So Doc Rivers, give it up.
3 teams that'll have top 10 draft picks. Be great.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Doc Rivers is looking like, unless they make quite a run in this playoff, that he is not going to be the coach for very long.
It's not a small sample size. He's 17 and 18 in almost half a season in control. That's not good by any stretch.
The Damian Lillard experiment has not worked. Something's going on, and I'm going to guess that Damian Lillard, maybe Giannis has changed. Something's changed.
They don't play defense.
Yeah.
They don't play defense well enough. Now, last night the Celtics did not shoot the ball well. They only scored 91 points, but by and large, this is not a very good defensive team over the totality of Doc Rivers being in charge.
And that was what he was supposed to clean up.
Yeah, I mean, X's and O's, there's plenty going on there defensively, I think, is the number one reason why they haven't been better. But there's always this sense I just got from either listening to them or watching them. Once they won, they didn't seem like a team built to either continue or even believe that, oh, this is the start of something now. No, they won a championship. And that was nice. I'm not saying they're content. They're all competitors. They're out there working every day. But did you ever get the feeling like, oh, boy, this team is going to rule the East for years now?
Well, the thing was, and Fred and I talked about this extensively, is that Giannis looked at it, they won a championship, and he decided to stay, which is unprecedented. I mean, okay, yeah, I'll stay in Milwaukee. He must have gotten assurances from ownership that they were going to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, we're going to add this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy, and nothing, and it hasn't happened. Chris Middleton's been hurt more often than he's been healthy, but they went and got Lillard. That hasn't worked.
Yeah,
I thought it was the beginning of something because Giannis said he was going to stay with the franchise long term.
Yeah, I never got the sense it was a one-off. It wasn't like Toronto winning and then losing their best player. It's, it wasn't that situation, but maybe it's just because it's Milwaukee. And, I'm not used to thinking about the Milwaukee Bucks as, being on the verge of a dynasty.
Well, that was what was going to change it, was the idea that Giannis stayed, and that the idea that Giannis stayed there was going to give them a chance. And they've only played a couple, if it matters, but they've only played a couple games with Middleton, Lillard, and Giannis on the floor together. I guess Lillard was going to play a couple nights ago, came in and got a tooth knocked out, and then had to go to the dentist, which I think is funny. Like in hockey, like you could break your jaw and keep playing the game. They'll send you to the dentist afterwards. If you break a tooth,
maybe
in the NBA,
just give you another helmet with a bigger visor. Go back out there.
Oh, we have to rescue that tooth. Get your butt to a dentist.
You say send you to the dentist afterward. You mean after the season?
Yeah.
Then you'll go to the dentist.
I mean, it's seriously like, I just thought that was funny. It's like, ooh, Ma, you've lost a tooth. It's time, silly goose. You got to get that put back in. My stars.
Well, Joe Mazzulla, not put off by this game last night.
It's good for us to be in a bunch of different situations. So, that was the first time where, the game wasn't going our way since I don't remember when. You know what I mean? So, to me, it's that's a good opportunity to just kind of play through that, find different ways to create runs, build stuff on either end of the floor. So I thought it was a good situation for us to be in because we hadn't seen it in a while.
Lemonade out of lemons.
That's the kind of guy you want to have lunch with.
And you know what? I won't be having lunch with him today, but he is going to be in studio with Zolak and Bertrand today.
Hey.
Are you going to hang around?
I might. Look
at you.
I have an appointment that I might try and push back a little bit.
It's hard to get those colonoscopies scheduled.
It's not a colonoscopy, please, Fred.
So
it's important to get them.
So have you texted with him like, hey, I heard you're going to be in studio?
No. I haven't texted with him since the start of this show. And since then, he won't return my text because of you.
Did you, so will you just be kind of like, what time's he coming in?
11:30, I think.
Okay, so 11:30. It's an hour and a half after the show. Will you be parked out on the couch over there, like just pretending to be doing something else?
I'm normally here until a little bit after 11 anyway, so it wouldn't be that much of a stretch to stay a few extra minutes. Say hello.
Yeah. Will you stand up?
No, I'll lay down on the couch.
I don't think that's right.
And I'll have my back to whoever is walking by. But when I get a sense that it's him, I'll look over my shoulder and say, "Hey, what's up?" And then I'll just roll back over.
No. But if you're sitting there and he comes in, will you stand up and go, "Joe"? Hey, Joe.
No.
Remember when we had lunch?
No.
I like you because you're the coach.
I will remain seated and I'll extend my hand, and he'll have to come over and shake mine.
Well, I hope you two take a picture with him, would you?
I might.
I wonder if he's going to be at the Gorman thing after the game on Sunday.
I would think so.
You would think that he would have to go.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm going to try to make friends with him.
You should.
I'm going to be like, "Joe, I heard you have lunch."
He knows his way around a menu. Just Fred, let him order.
Yeah. Italian restaurant.
And spoiler alert,
Yeah.
he's just going to order for you anyway. Yeah. I'm saying let him. Don't be put off by it.
No, I mean,
he's a take charge kind of guy.
I mean, that's why he's the best coach in basketball.
Arguably.
All right. We'll be back. The Bruins also played tonight to disappointing results.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, let's start with the Bruins. They get a goal from Charlie McAvoy, but lost at home to Carolina 4-1. The division lead is now down to 3 points on Florida with 3 to go. They're off until Saturday night when they visit Pittsburgh. Celtics saw their winning streak snapped in Milwaukee last night, 104-91 by the Bucks. Patrick Beverley, 20 points for Milwaukee. Giannis Antetokounmpo left early for Milwaukee with a strained left calf. Celtics back at home to play the Knicks tomorrow night. Red Sox lost to Baltimore 7-1. Tyler O'Neill, his 6th home run of the season. Trevor Story will undergo season-ending shoulder surgery Friday. Nick Pivetta placed on the injured list with a sore pitching elbow. And the New England Revolution beat by Club America last night in Mexico City 5-2. They have been bounced from the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open Cup on aggregate. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by WellPoint, formerly Unicare. They've teamed with Charlie Coyle, Mass State and local police, the professional firefighters of Mass and Bruins Radio for face-offs for first responders. If you or a loved one are thinking about suicide, get free and confidential help 24/7 on the Lifeline Network. Just text or call 988-NOW. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
This is Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown serves the corner. Finger roll is up and good. Scored in the foul.
Listen to home of the Boston Celtics, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hour of Toucher and Hardy is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. And your local hockey team was on the ice last night as well, Hardy.
They were indeed, Fred, and but it's just a night of strangeness. You know, the Celtics game was kind of an odd affair, and then last night, as the Bruins were taking on the Carolina Hurricanes, there was a goal that, was it?
Puck fed left to the net. Here's Svechnikov in the near corner. Dangles around to check. Back of the cage. Goes lacrosse style and off the crossbar.
He thinks it went in.
At this point, they continue to play for about another 20 seconds.
We'll know here in a second. If the horn goes, we'll know it went in.
Over the line, right side is Stahl. Jammed off the puck. Here's Coyle. Flipped it over to the far side. Carolina had a close call in the first period on a puck that they thought trickled off of Swayman and over the line.
To be clear, they're reviewing it while, puck went in.
And at that point, they finally stopped play. They're like, oh, yeah, that guy scored like 15 seconds ago. We should probably stop this thing. But it was one of those rare occasions where linesman didn't see it, ref didn't see it. The players saw it, and I think the Bruins maybe, I give Swayman the benefit of the doubt. I mean, his back was turned to it, so I would have thought he heard it, though. I mean, it was a pretty good shot. And as Wallach has already described in the headlines this morning, the scoop wrap around the back of the net on the blade of the stick. Yeah,
Michigan style. Yep.
What I think of every time when I see that, done normally during a practice or, like in a high school shootout. You don't see it in the NHL hardly at all. But he did score.
You know why? Because any defenseman who's in the area, which is you just have to get his stick on this stick of the guy holding the puck on it.
And I would also think that move would just be an invitation to have your head taken off at some point later in that same game. Like, oh, you're doing trick shots now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Or to get dumped on your ass while you're attempting it.
That's what I'm saying. He was allowed to skate rather freely. I can't figure out who the defenseman was right there, but does the Michigan goal right in front of him, and the guy's standing right there.
Yeah.
You think, the puck's on his stick, in the air. You might want to get that off of there. It wouldn't take much effort.
And it wasn't one of those games where you've seen the Bruins come out flat in the first and not be able to, get anything going. I thought they looked fine. I thought it was it was a good back and forth hockey game. Montgomery thought they were fine in the first.
Loved our first. I thought we were really physical. I thought we were engaged. Second period, I thought they came out and they pushed hard. I thought their checking skills were superior to ours, and it led to a lot of us playing in our D zone. Third period, I thought I liked our first 5 minutes, and then as soon as the third goal went in, it kind of like the air came out of the balloon.
And that was your final. That was 4-1 from the Garden last night. So, a few more games left for the Bruins. How many more they have here, Wallach?
They have 3.
Okay.
They have 3 games left. I believe Tuesday is their last game of the season.
All right.
And then they go to take on the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Which I don't know that anyone is real excited for.
No. Tampa Bay Lightning have been electric of late. They have great goaltending. They're just not good.
No. Don't love that. Let's talk about the Red Sox here for a moment, too.
Oh, yes. Please do. You were there. Fill me in. The smells, the sights. Was it the greenest grass you'd ever seen?
The grass was green. The sun was out, but let me tell you something. In the shade, sneaky chilly.
Mm-hmm.
It was
not me, my lady. We're hot in the shade.
Oh yeah, and the shade underneath the sheets. You mean? Huh?
She's a lady in the streets. Horror between the sheets.
Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Cora not happy with the team's defense yesterday.
Poor defensively. I mean, it wasn't a good game, so we're going to have some of those because we got some young guys playing, and too bad it happened today.
Yeah, too bad when the ball goes between your legs and you're playing.
David Hamilton has never been confused for a Gold Glover. The only reason he's up is because the guy who actually knew what he was doing, Trevor Story, isn't coming back this season. So that's the thing. I've heard on the station multiple times that losing Trevor Story doesn't hurt this team at all. Defensively, he kills this team because Rafael Devers can't field the ball, and Manuel Valdez can't field it either.
When you're watching Devers, Devers can play defense a little bit. He's not a disaster
at best.
He's not a disaster at third base.
Did you watch yesterday?
Okay, but did you watch him and his reaction to Hamilton when that ball went through his legs? When you've got Devers saying like, "Come on, dude. I mean, I suck."
But not.
That's just you can't. How does that happen? That's tough to do at a major league level. Let the ball literally go between your legs.
But you saw a lot of it last year when they brought him up. The reason Hamilton's a prospect is because he steals bases. The problem is you can't steal first. He hits maybe 240. You can't get on base. He's not a shortstop. He's not a good shortstop. But here we are. This is where we are while we wait for Marcelo Mayer to get here. This is what we're stuck with. So now you have a platoon at second because the guy they wanted, Vaughn Grissom, is hurt. You have a platoon at short because Trevor Story's not there. Now you're in trouble. Now you're in trouble. And the pitching can't get any better than it was in the first 10 games of the season. So even though the team is 7-4, they are not nearly that good.
Well, Tyler.
Tell that to the baseball gods. You are your record.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's 7-4. Tyler O'Neill gave him some hope with the home run, but other than that,
did you see that home run? Were you there in time for the home run?
I did.
Did you get up and go, yeah?
I didn't think it was staying in because it was way down the third base line, and I was looking. I'm like, is that staying in? That can't be staying in. Stayed in. But then I had to turn my attention back to my friend Ryan from 128 Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, who is an electric, who I just happened to bump into, and we had ourselves a delightful visit. Oh, I'm a big fan of his.
Was he in a box?
He was, but he was, he's kind of doing? He's kind of making the rounds. He's just kind of making the rounds, seeing who else is there, what's going on. And we just, kind of stumbled into each other at one point. And he's like, hey! I was like, hey!
Another friend.
Yeah.
That he can text and call and hang out with.
Well.
Good for you.
Sure. Can you just imagine that phone? He's got to have
blowing
the cloud.
up. Jeez, look at you.
He's got to have the cloud, because if he carried around the real phone, it would be like the size of 17 phone books.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people would say at an event like that, tens of thousands, there's a lot of strangers in that ballpark yesterday. You know what I say, Fred? Stranger is just a friend you haven't met yet.
Yeah.
Do you have
one
Joe
of those
Mazzulla's
old school
number
computers.
in your phone? Do you have Joe Mazzulla's number in your phone?
Yeah.
Have you ever texted him just like, hey, check it in?
I think the only time no, never something like that. There was once, I think the first time he came on the midday show for his weekly call and I wasn't there. And I think I texted him after that and said something like, hey, I'm sorry I missed you today. I don't know if you heard I moved the morning show up on. We text back and forth. And that was the last contact I had with him. So that was months ago.
Did he say, Fred Toucher, that now you're with it. Now you've put your card on a Bronco.
I'm looking at it right now and he's...
This is Joe Mazzulla and Hardy's Conversations on text.
I've moved to the morning show with Fred Toucher. Joe, who's Fred Toucher? And then it stopped.
You didn't tell him who I was?
No, I'm not going to go back and read my text. I don't know. But that was the last
time. What did you guys talk about?
That was the last
You guys talk about me? Did he say he was a fan?
Yes. He keeps spiking. He wants an autograph. He wants you to autograph that new press photo that we did of the three of us.
Oh, the one that's getting me to get my teeth fixed.
Yeah, but he only wants your signature on it. He feels my signature or Wallach's signature would only decrease the value.
You want to hear something funny? So I was talking to my mom today, and she goes, I didn't hear you yesterday, but I heard you today, and you guys sound good? You sound good? I go, yeah, what'd you hear? And she goes, and then it's 82-year-old lady babbling, and it's like, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, and Hardy's... She used to complain she couldn't hear you. She's like, now I can hear Hardy great. And she's like, and there's the other guy in your show. And I went, the other guy in my show.
Not just your mom feels that way.
And
Everyone does.
And she goes, oh, God, he's been there forever. The news guy, the person who reads the news.
Right.
And I went, Mom, what are you talking about? And she said, the other, he's been on your show forever. And I said, John Wallach? And she said, yes, John Wallach.
Oh. Thanks, Mom Toucher. That was very nice, sort of.
She couldn't remember your name.
She really was quite delightful to talk to the morning we had her on the phone.
Yeah. I think we should talk to her every day.
Well, but once a week, maybe. Just
Yeah.
a check-in.
See if she's still breathing.
What?
Just be like, hey, Mom.
Doesn't have
Because my father's all still crying about the dog. First time my mom ever saw my dad cry. They're in their 80s. They've known each other probably for 55 years.
Now, it's too raw. It's too early. But do you think they will get another dog?
Yes. I think they'll get an adult dog. They can't get a puppy. They would kill him. Like, they would trip him up and they'd break hips. Like, but I think that they could get an old dog, like adopt an older dog.
Okay.
One that lifespan meets theirs.
All right.
One that, it's not it will be a race. You get like a nice 10-year-old dog.
Who can hang on the
you
longest?
See who can hang on the longest.
Okay.
My great uncle had Weimaraners, and they were always ill-behaved, barky, aggressive. He never had what I would call a good dog. But the last one that he had when he was in that same stage of life, early 80s, he adopted one of these older, Weimaraners. And in addition to being ill-tempered, it was just sickly. And as he wasn't necessarily sickly for a guy who had been in World War II, had been a cop in Detroit for 30 years, for everything that should have been wrong with him. There was way more wrong with that dog.
It's like Herbert's dog on Family Guy.
Hey there, monsieur. And he goes, and then the dog goes, oh.
And he spent his final days like just taking care of this dog. And I don't think you would think, oh, that's nice. It's like a nurturing thing. They're seeing each other, toward the goal. No, it was a big pain in the ass. The dog had to go to the vet like every single day for something else that was wrong with it. And I think gave him zero enjoyment. There was just there was nothing fulfilling about the whole situation.
Yeah, well, that's what this dog was for my dad. They got a dog from a quote-unquote golden retriever rescue. There's no way it was a golden retriever, and it obviously was older than they said it was when they got her. And then when the first time they got the dog's haircut, they saw that there were all these like strap marks and stuff on it, like where someone had been beating it. So the dog was incredibly neurotic and just became incredibly attached to my father. Like, he'd follow him around everywhere and would get nervous. But my father just thought it was the greatest thing ever, and he would play into it. Because, like, if we were all watching TV downstairs, my dad was in his office, which is, like, next to where we watch TV, and Ginger would come out, you just hear, Ginger, 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 Ginger. Because he would be calling Ginger, and Ginger's just, like, sniffing around and like trying to figure out what's going on. And my dad's like, no, you're mine. Like, he raised it like the girl on Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, man.
Ginger was like the girl on Sleepaway Camp. Great. In fact, at the end, we found out Ginger had a penis. Just like at the end of Sleepaway Camp.
Oh.
It wasn't Ginger at all. It was Gin. But, they got
Ginger Baker.
Yeah. They got this, who was a very well-behaved young man. He talk about retiring with class. But, so that dog's dead. And my dad cried for the first time my mother had ever seen him cry. And people made a good point. They go, doesn't he fart usually when he gets upset? And that is true. When he gets razzed in the car, he'll start going.
So was he farting while he was crying?
I'd imagine it didn't smell good.
Oh, boy. Well, I wish them luck with their next pet.
I hope they get an adult dog. They're good with the dogs.
Yeah.
But my mother's paranoid the cat gets out every time the door opens. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Mister's out. Mister. Oh, God. Where's Mister? Mister's out. See, oh, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead. He's died.
The cat's name is Mister?
Yeah, my kids named the cat when they were little.
Oh.
All right, so we'll be back in just a moment. Our friend Joe Beningo is talking about shaving his nuts.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
It's playoff.
The Bruins division lead is now down to 3 points with 3 games left in the regular season after a 4-1 home loss to Carolina last night at TD Garden. Charlie McAvoy scored for the Bruins, but Andrei Svechnikov had a goal and an assist for the winners, and Pyotr Kochetkov added 22 saves in net. Trent Frederick's team was on their heels for most of the evening.
I think we got them last time pretty good in their barn. It seemed like they came ready to play. Gotta give them credit. It was like a tough checking game to start, and it seemed like they kind of took over a little more in the second.
Bruins will visit Pittsburgh on Saturday night. The Celtics got 22 points from Jason Tatum, but had their 5-game winning streak snapped in Milwaukee, 104-91 by the Bucks. The big story of this game came in the second half when Giannis Antetokounmpo left with a left calf strain. He went down without being touched. The Celtics end their regular season with a 3-game homestand that begins tomorrow night against the Knicks. Red Sox are beaten by Baltimore 7-1 at Fenway Park in their home opener. Colton Cowser drove in 4 runs for the visitors. The Sox managed just 2 hits for the day, one of which was a homer by Tyler O'Neill. They played Baltimore again today. Now, before yesterday's game, Craig Breslow announced Trevor Story needs shoulder surgery this Friday and will miss 6 months, which is expected to cost him the entire season. Nick Pivetta has been placed on the injured list with a flexor strain in his pitching elbow. The Orioles have also reportedly called up top prospect Jackson Holliday. And the Masters begins tomorrow morning at Augusta. Tiger Woods will tee off at 1:24. Defending champion John Rahm goes off at 10:30. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Cross Insurance, known for building winning partnerships with teams of all sizes. The official insurance broker of the Red Sox, Bruins, and Patriots. Visit crossagency.com. Cross Insurance, your team, your choice. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
No matter where you go, you're always connected to Boston sports with the 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Download it wherever you get your apps today. On the air, online, on the app. This is how Boston sports fans start their day. Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. I've never endorsed Manscaped, but what I really truly believe this. The best, and I've been told this by advertisers too. A couple interesting things for me. I told you my friend in Detroit is a big guy at this ad agency, and he's like, everything we thought we knew about digital advertising is wrong. He's like, because it was in its infancy, we screwed it all up, and he's like, because then we started making these cheap commercials. And now he feels like they got to make bigger production commercials again. He said for a long time the biggest production shoot he'd ever been on was in like 2000. It was his first shoot. It was like a $5 million shoot. They'd flown to Los Angeles. They'd gotten a helicopter to shoot stuff. And he said he's never even had one that was $1 million since then. But he said that. But I do believe that the best. I truly swear to God, you can put me on a lie detector. It's made me get stuff. Is if you listen to a radio show, you have a connection with those people. You have almost the most intimate kind of relationship you can have in media, and a personal endorsement from that person, I think, works. And it's been proven to work. I know it does. You get a lot of return on your investment.
Yeah.
Now, Jim, I know this. Jim Murray did the Manscaped, and I bought a Manscaped due to Jim Murray on the Felger and Maz show talking about Manscaped. It shaves your balls. It's what it does. Your testicles, your private area. And it's ceramic. It's made so it doesn't snag. It's actually kind of an ingenious device. I have 2.
One for each testicle?
No, 1.
Which one's for your back?
I have a battery pack for 1 testicle.
Oh, okay.
Because it runs out. It's so big that it runs out of juice, and it needs a special battery pack. Battery pack. Well, Joe Beningo, you know Joe Beningo? You guys obviously shave down there.
Sure.
Or do your ladies like it unkept?
I think we all groom ourselves.
But it wasn't always that way.
No. Wasn't always the thing.
No. I mean, you look no further to the 80s to see unkept everything. But now there's an expectation that it's going to be clean down there.
Yeah, you just take care of stuff, sure.
Yeah, but it wasn't always that way, and it's tricky. There's sensitive things down there.
Oh, yeah.
Very small, sensitive things down there. Almost, you can't see them with the naked eye.
Microscopic nicks on microscopic parts of your anatomy.
So I got the Manscaped magnifying glass and a pair of very, very like almost tweezer-like clippers.
It'd be great. Yes, if Manscaped sold like a magnification mirror that clamped onto the side
Like
of
a
your
jeweler.
bathroom counter. Yes, and a special stool that you could sit on and hold over the area because it's so difficult to see what you're doing down there. It's
What I did is I found an old watchmaker set on YouTube and used that. All right, so here is Joe Beningo, our friend.
I bought 10 power reading glasses just for that activity, just so I could see what's going on.
Yeah, well, I bought a telescope. All right, so Joe, I'm saying it's small. So Joe Beningo, we all love Joe Beningo. He's been on the show many times. He is a guy that used to call WFAN. Finally, he got a job. He did middays there for years. He's quasi-retarded. He's quasi-retired. Excuse me. He's quasi-retired. I apologize.
So he still does like a regular weekly or what kind of I don't know what he does.
All I know is that he came on the afternoon show and said that and read a bunch of texts that Saleh had sent him, and they were very negative about the quarterback.
Oh, that set Tiki Barber off. He was not happy about that. Yes.
So he's writing and doing some stuff.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. Here is Joe Beningo talking about the Manscaped.
Hey, Joe Beningo here. Now, I don't know about you, but for years I struggled with grooming the family jewels. Oh, my God, did I have trouble doing this. You know what I was using? I was using this. I'm grooming myself down below with this monstrosity of a scissor. You got to be kidding me.
So he holds up these shears.
Oh, my God.
These things that could cut through aluminum. And he's like, look what I was using, my jewels.
Oh, my God. I thought he was going to hold up, maybe at the height of comedy, a straight razor. Or at the very least, I thought he was going to hold up like a Mach 5 or Gillette sensor.
No, it was
scissors.
What part of your brain do you use to? You know what? I'm going to pick up the sharpest thing possible.
I'll tell you this. Ken O'Brien let me down.
Oh my God.
Oh. I don't even think I could.
No, one false move, you're in trouble.
Well, I mean, I don't think I could bring myself to actually, close the handle of the shears.
I just
no.
Joe, what are you doing?
No.
Then one day, things finally changed for good. I'm grooming myself down below with the scissor, and we had a little bit of an accident.
Waited until he made the mistake.
And we had a little bit of an accident.
Then.
You remember John Wayne Bobbitt?
Yeah. I waited for the pain.
It was like I did it to myself. I didn't know what to do. I threw it out the window. Ah! I hurt myself.
I'm grooming myself down below with the scissor, and we had a little bit of an accident. Well, it was traumatic. The trauma, nobody wants to have an accident when it comes to the family jewels. There was a little blood. I even had to put a Band-Aid on it. Oh, God. It wasn't pretty.
Madonna.
That's the worst part. I had to put a Band-Aid on it. Gosh.
I got something. I got a ball Band-Aid. I got something. I got an adhesive on my schmagul.
Hickory dickory dock. I had to put a Band-Aid on my
But I said to myself, I'm done. Beningo is done. I got to find something better than this. So a good friend of mine came over one day and says, Joe, you having an issue grooming the family jewels? I said, yeah.
Which is how every conversation starts when friends come over to the house.
That's right.
Hey, Joe, I noticed the tuft of hair coming from underneath your waistline. You not shaving that? Last time I got shears and cut myself, I put on a Band-Aid.
This needs to be the commercial, the recreation of this encounter, soap opera style. You don't call, you don't text. You, hey Joey,
Get big pussy from The Sopranos.
yeah. Joey, you home? Yeah, come on up. Hey, you having a problem with your jewels? Shave it down there, Joey. Hey, come on. It's Nikki. Come on. You tell me everything. Come on. I know you all your life. Tell me. You got a problem, you got to tell me.
Yeah, I've been using these shears.
No. Come on, kid. You can't use the shears, Joey. Let me see.
What should I do? I don't know what to do. I'm standing here with these shears like a hammer.
Hey, come on. It's Nikki. I know your whole life. Show me what you did down there. Show me the damage.
Can I show you on this doll? Might be easier. Everyone at the Y was like, Joe, you cut yourself.
Came over one day and says, Joe, you having an issue grooming the family jewels? I said, yeah, it's been a problem. In fact, I even cut myself the other day. He said, you ever see Manscaped? You ever check out the Manscaped? I said, no, what the hell is Manscaped? Next thing I know, I'm using the lawnmower. And not only were the family jewels groomed to, I guess as close to perfection as you could get, but my penis looked bigger.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. Next thing I know, Nikki's dropping his pants. He's saying, look what it did for me. Joey, you want your penis to look this big? You know me my whole life. You don't pack a hog like this. Look at the size of this thing. It's an optical illusion, Joey.
There's nothing getting in its way. It's just sitting here by itself saying, oh, what do you want out of me? Look at you. Look at me. Look at you. Look at me. Look. It's big. Joey, your ball bag looks small. Oh.
So that's how it's done.
That's how you sell a Manscaped.
Really impress the ladies. This is what happens.
You bring up blood and scissors and your penis size.
All right.
And guys, I had a guy come over.
Yeah, we're talking like guys do. He heard, they're talking down in the corner. They said, Joe, everybody is talking down at the bodega. I stopped in at the deli. I'm getting my coffee, and I hear that you took a scissor to your balls and your pecker. What are you doing, kid? Come on. I love you. I can't let you do this no more, Joey. Look at this. Take a look at what I'm doing. You tell me if you want this to be you.
Whoa, it's bigger than before.
Joey, it's not. It's the same size. It just looks so much bigger because the hair is gone thanks to the lawnmower.
Why they call it a lawnmower? It ain't mowing the lawn.
Hey, forget about it. Just look at it. Look, take a good look.
Wow. That thing for that thing? And it's going to look that big? Sold. All right, next ad. Summer's Eve. I was walking with my aunt, and I went, "Ew!" We're walking by a river, and I'm saying, "Hey, I don't feel so clean." All right, so we will be back in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey. Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. And everyone is very excited for the NFL draft that is happening in less than 2 weeks. If you listen to Felger and Maz, Felger was talking about how the Michael Holley has suddenly switched his thoughts to the J.J. McCarthy being a possible pick at number 3. And then you get into the machinations of trading down from there. And I'm starting to believe that this draft is going to be there's 4 quarterbacks going in the top 4. Like all this talk about a receiver going in the top 4, that's not happening. That 4 quarterbacks are going in a row. There's too much of it is coming true. All the things I'd heard about J.J. McCarthy and how you just wait, there's going to be this run on him. He wasn't allowed to do what he wanted to do at Michigan. Can you get on the Beast? On the Athletic?
That's released today.
It's out right now.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm trying to get the I'm trying to get it to open, but it's got a password, as you know.
Yes.
And oh my God, dude, I'm never going to be able to do this. Look at this.
What's
password.
the problem? Oh, that was the suggested password, or is that one that you got?
You
from?
have to use it.
Oh,
yeah, it's password protected. It's one password. There are dollar signs and ampersands and things, and I too am having trouble.
Okay, so you have to include the ampersands.
Yes.
Hachi machi.
Yeah.
What, like this guy really makes you want to look for. Really wants you to look for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm going to do all this work. I'm going to put it together. I'm going to have it all ready to go. You're going to have to jump through 9 hoops to look at it,
yeah,
though.
It doesn't make a lot. Okay, I got it.
While you're doing that, I'm looking at a mock draft of Pete Prisco on CBS Sports. He has the Patriots taking J.J. McCarthy 3rd.
Yeah.
Drake May 5th to the Vikings, Marvin Harrison 4th to Arizona.
Right. Okay, so here is if you want to hear the most recent talk as I follow all these things, and I will keep it brief and I will not keep it going for the whole show. Caleb Williams is the best. He's the best. Any talk of his flaws have been completely overblown. His mechanics are the best. His ball placement is the best. His decision-making is best. His footwork is the best. Like, everything he does is the best. It's nonsense to not make him the best. Okay, here we go. Drake May has phenomenal arm talent and athleticism and size. He can make throws that almost no one else can make. The thing is, he's incredibly inconsistent. He's shown that. He's stiff at the beginning of games. He's not a smooth operator. He'll throw a pass that you're like, I don't think anyone else in college football could throw that pass, and then he'll throw 3 over a guy's head. That's Drake May. Jaden Daniels is old. He's slight of frame. He throws a great deep ball, but he's not a finished product either. But he's 23. He's going to have to run a lot. And then J.J. McCarthy only throws the ball hard, but he's the youngest kid out of all of them. And the idea is he could have done more than he did at Michigan. And how can you fault Michigan, though? Because they won the national championship. So that's the deal with J.J. McCarthy. So there is a world, I believe, where J.J. McCarthy could be a better quarterback than Drake May. And then there's a world where Drake May becomes Josh Allen. Because I think that J.J. McCarthy's floor is higher than Drake May's. Because you have to remember, I root for a team that took Zach Wilson, who has every physical gift that you could possibly want in a quarterback. Not the size, but could, run to his right and throw a ball 70 yards to his left with a flick of his wrist. And he couldn't transition to the NFL. That just makes me a little nervous. I'd still take Drake May. But J.J. McCarthy is a leader. You can teach him. He's still young. He won a national championship. He played at a big program. He's physically gifted. He's not Mac Jones. He's physically gifted. He's a guy who has the talent to play in the NFL, the physical talent to play in the NFL. The one thing about him is he throws the ball too hard, and that he was not asked to win games very often by Michigan.
That's what I worry about. The projection part of his skills is the thing that I worry about. You've seen these guys do it. You haven't seen J.J. McCarthy do it as much, simply because the team around him was way better than everyone else's. That's what I worry about. If you draft J.J. McCarthy third, you can't look and go, oh, I saw him do this in college. He's, of course, going to do this here.
It's that added projection, because every exercise in the draft is a projection. You know, you're trying to figure out how this is going to work in the NFL. And with McCarthy, you also have to take that out a step further and say, okay, he didn't even really do a whole lot of this in college, but we're pretty sure he can, based on his pro day, based on what he's done here, based on what he's done with the
crazy
business.
because North Carolina, well, first of all, he started at quarterback for Michigan for 2 years. I mean, it's not like he was and he wasn't playing at the guys that you got to go, could he do it against this, are guys that played at like North Dakota, like Trey Lance, even Zach Wilson at BYU. Drake May, for all he proved it on the field, was on a team that lost to Virginia, lost to Georgia Tech, lost to Clemson, lost to NC State. Like, I mean, he was on a team that lost 4 games.
His junior year.
Lost to West Virginia.
Okay. His junior year, how did he do?
He was great.
He was very good his junior year.
The offensive line got depleted, and they started doing a new system. If you want to go win-loss records for quarterbacks that go to the NFL, look at Patrick Mahomes. Look at what his win-loss record was like.
No, I'm using it. I know you can't, but I'm using it as you are projecting. You're projecting J.J. McCarthy. I can make the argument you're projecting Drake May, because one of the arguments you used is I can't. Like, I haven't seen him do it in college. Well, I haven't seen Drake May win in college. I haven't seen Drake May lead an offense in college. We're projecting that he has the ability to be a winner. I mean, he had really good. Listen, I think Drake May's. I've known about Drake May since he was in high school. I think Drake May has all the ability in the world to become a good quarterback in the NFL. I'd take him, but I could see why you could talk yourself into J.J. McCarthy. I could see that. And it would be an incredibly ballsy move. And J.J. McCarthy could end up like all those USC quarterbacks that were taken that ended up being nothing.
See, I don't put as much stock into the whole leadership thing and the winning thing. If you did, I would have tons of questions about Caleb Williams. But the fact is, I think he is the most physically gifted and talented player, and that's what everybody thinks, and that's why he's going number one.
Okay, but the Caleb Williams situation can be described thusly. Is that A, he's so far and away better than the other quarterbacks, it's not even funny, and 2, his team's defense was just horrible. Like, they couldn't stop anyone.
Right.
So, I mean, he plays one side of the ball.
But in terms of just, if you want to boil it down to, I think the most important thing, the physical attributes, what you've actually seen him do in games, regardless of, But
he's been inconsistent in games. So he's done great things, but he's also been inconsistent, which is a problem in the NFL. Like, consistency is the most important thing.
You want to be able to know what you're getting week in and week out. I agree with that. Look, McCarthy is going to be a fine pick. I think he's going to be a fine NFL player. But you have to admit, Fred, it requires more projection and more faith than the other guys, than it does Jaden Daniels, than it does with Drake May, and certainly with Caleb Williams. You have to take more on faith that he can do the things required of a starting quarterback in the NFL, because you haven't seen them as much. And it's not even his fault. That was the system they played at Michigan. They decided they could win by running the ball, and that's what they did. And they won it all.
The only thing that scares me about J.J. McCarthy is if he's like Mark Sanchez or like Matt Barkley. Oh, boy. Like those kind of guys.
That's not.
Or like Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Like he's like one of those like purebred kids on like a big program that come into the NFL and they're just like, ugh. Like Sanchez, Sanchez went to 2 AFC championship games.
I know that, but he was a passenger for some of that.
But I liked how his
Sanchez a little bit better than he gets remembered for.
I like how his college coach came out and said he shouldn't be in the
Yeah,
draft.
Pete Carroll said, "Don't take him. He's not ready."
Yeah.
And the Jets still
And the
took
Jets
him.
said, "Let's trade up." Like Matt Leinart. Like everyone thought Matt Leinart was going to be like an incredible.
No, he was unbelievable in college.
Yeah. So that's my fear of J.J. McCarthy, just for no reason except he reminds me of those guys. And the scary thing about Drake May is that the way he's talked about reminds me of Zach Wilson. Those are the things. I think Jaden Daniels, just based on his speed and athleticism, probably can succeed, and if he doesn't get hurt.
But that's the thing. The NFL, you need a mobile quarterback. Now, he's more mobile than most, but that's a guy who can get out of trouble. If he joins a team that doesn't have a great offensive line, he can extend plays, he can gain yards himself. He just has to avoid getting hurt. That's all.
Who was it that just told us, though, that Jaden Daniels' speed might be a bit of an illusion? Was it Doug Kyde who said that yesterday?
Yeah,
he said he's not, because, again, let's not look past the forest for the trees here. The biggest difference in addition to the size is the speed that the NFL takes place at as opposed to college. Yeah, the players are stronger, and the defenses these guys are going to be facing are just bigger. The lines are bigger. The linebackers are going to be bigger, but they're faster. Everybody, faster. Mm-hmm. It's the speed of the game that there's very, very little ability to account for ahead of time. You can get bigger, you can work on your throwing mechanics. These things can happen. You're not going to get taller, and you're probably not going to get much faster. Tom Brady is the only one to ever do it. And I don't know if you saw him. He ran a faster 40 now than he did a combine. He's a miracle.
Jaden Daniels, by the way, is not going to get physically bigger. He's not going to put on weight.
Probably not.
He's almost 24. He's not putting on more weight. That's pretty difficult to ask of the guy, because I don't think LSU was stopping him from doing much.
But do you also think he's going to get faster than he is now?
I don't know. Not by any real insane amount. No.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get down to the tenths of seconds, which I'd love to get into.
Oh, we should.
I would love to get into that. But, that's where we stand right now. I don't think that they take J.J. McCarthy. I think they will take a quarterback at 3. Who knows why all this noise. I knew the noise for J.J. McCarthy would come, and J.J. McCarthy's going to go number 4. I don't know how you can keep the 4th pick in the draft with people wanting a quarterback and not trade down. You don't think so, Michael?
No, I don't, because Arizona has 2 picks in the first round, and they have the most picks in the draft. Why trade that? Just pick Marvin Harrison Jr.
What if you traded with the Giants at 6?
But then the Chargers could take Harrison Jr.
But then I'd take Neighbors, and I would acquire more picks.
It depends on maybe they have a big gap between Harrison and Neighbors.
Sure, if they think Harrison's, if they think Harrison's like the greatest. But I mean, if I can trade down 2 picks, I could see not trading to 11. But if I could trade down 2 picks and pick up another first rounder, then I mean, I'm doing it.
That's a lot of picks.
Give them all to me. I mean, I've watched a draft where a team had 4 first rounders.
You just take Marvin Harrison. That's what you do. Don't trade it.
Neighbors.
No.
Could be available 2 picks later.
No, he told you no.
Is there a gap? Is that sizable gap between those 2
Marvin
guys?
Harrison is a sure thing in this draft. Neighbors, I think, is going to be good, but more of like an A.J. Brown where he has huge moments and then disappears.
And who's Harrison like?
Larry Fitzgerald?
Marvin Harrison.
Okay. All right. There you go.
All right.
I take that's too bold to leap.
Who does he resemble? I know.
That's too bold to leap. Listen, if the Giants, someone's going to have to trade up, and if the Giants aren't going to just sit at 6 if they want a quarterback. I can tell you that. And if I was a Cardinal fan and they just took Harrison, I personally would be a little disappointed if you could have just traded down to 6 and picked up something else. But
yeah, it's not like Arizona. Their roster is flush. You need as many guys as you can get.
Yeah. And it's not like the NBA where you're like, oh, we have too many picks. Like, we got to pay all these guys. It's like, yeah, we have all these picks. We get to pay all these guys. Yeah, we get to pay them nothing.
Yeah.
So, all right, I disagree with Mike in that. But I have not broken down the game film of Marvin Harrison Jr. That much is sure. All right, opening day was yesterday. Hardy was there, and Johnny Damon was there. And American Pie was there. There was a lot of fun stuff. We'll have all that for you.
Sports Hub headlines.
3 games and 3 losses for the local teams yesterday. Bruins got beat by Carolina 4-1 at TD Garden. They're off tonight. They're off until Saturday evening when they visit Pittsburgh. Their division lead is 3 points on Florida with 3 to go. Celtics lost in Milwaukee 104-91 in their final road game of the regular season. Jason Tatum, 22 points for the Celtics. They have 3 games left. They host the Knicks tomorrow night. Red Sox lost more than one thing yesterday. They lost their home opener to Baltimore 7-1. Trevor Story has been lost for the season with a fractured bone in his shoulder as well as a shoulder subluxation. He'll undergo surgery on Friday. And the Sox lost Nick Pivetta to the injured list with a right elbow flexor strain. They'll play Baltimore again tonight. The Orioles have reportedly called up the top prospect in the majors, infielder Jackson Holliday. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Rodenheiser Home Services. Technicians are ready to make small fixes at your home that could prevent big problems down the road. Visit Rodenheiser.com to schedule today. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8 o'clock.
If you've got the app, you've got Toucher and Hardy to wake you up no matter where you are.
Or who may or may not have been to jail.
Get the app. The 98.5 The Sports Hub app.
Cat's Eye Cat's Guard exclusion system is the permanent solution to keep rodents and wildlife sealed out. It prevents mice, rats, squirrels, raccoons, and bats, as well as other wildlife. You've heard about my battles with the raccoons as I've bravely fought them off. I've had bats. Anything to avoid bats. That's what I suggest for you, and there's nothing better than Cat's Eye Pest Control. Cat's Eye Cat Guard exclusion system is a permanent chemical-free solution to pest problems, which means it's safe for your family and your pets. Cat Guard technicians are masters of their craft. They not only have a deep understanding of rodents and nuisance wildlife, they have extensive backgrounds in carpentry, masonry, metalwork, and roofing. They're the best. Schedule your free home inspection today at catseyepest.com.
At Rockland Trust, we know listening matters. Whether you're building a family or a business, investing in a new home or a college education, you need a banker who cares. That one person who makes all the difference. Rockland Trust Bank, where each relationship matters. Member FDIC.
What is insurance?
Insurance transfers certain risks.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. And the Red Sox opening day was yesterday. They unfortunately lost to a Baltimore Orioles team. Very talented Baltimore Orioles team. And our own Hardy was there. So he
make it sound like it was part of the festivities. I wasn't there for a lot of the pregame. I did see the flyover as I was looking for parking. And I thought that the flyover was really late because I was listening to someone's account of the game and, heard the Boston firefighters, which I believe a friend of mine, Bill, was a part of. He's a Boston firefighter, and he's a musician and a singer.
He sung the anthem.
I just saw him the other day, as a matter of fact.
Of course
just randomly, I saw him on Friday. I'm like, hey, Bill, I haven't seen him forever. What's going on?
Why are you guys not texting?
You know what? I should. I'll ask him right now if he was down on the field, which I wish I was there in time for. But again, don't park here. It's $100 to park here. Can I park here? No. Why not? You have an SUV. Is it really an SUV? It's kind of like a four-door sedan almost. It's barely an SUV.
Sir, I'm trying to give you an exorbitant amount of money to park my car here. Maybe you could find a spot for me.
Yeah, you want $100 for me to sit a car here for 3 hours. That sounds like a pretty good deal.
For you, yeah.
I don't know how me taking up more of the spot is going to affect anyone.
I just asked him if he was there singing.
Oh, I just gave you an entree into your conversation.
Well, again, it was just a random meeting. We were coming. I was another friend of mine, and I had taken our kids out to UMass for the little visit and tour last Friday. And as I was driving my friend back to her neighborhood, we stumbled upon, and she said, "Oh, look, there's Bill right now." And he was in his driveway, and it was one of those West Roxbury neighborly moments. Let's roll down the window and have a chin wag here, right by the side of the road.
While you and the woman you're having an affair with are running around in the car, I understand.
No, but I have considered having an affair with her husband. I have what we jokingly call a non-sexual crush. It might be bordering on a sexual crush on her husband, and this is well known. It's documented. It's all out there. We're able to talk about it as adults.
Is he good at golf?
No, doesn't even play as far as I know, but he's British, so the accent, I just melt every time he speaks. Rugby player, and, you ready for this?
Another stocky person.
Speaks Italian.
Oh, good for you.
So he does the Italian. He speaks Italian with a British accent.
Hardy, he's got a body type, Fred. Hardy has a body type.
Oh, no. Well,
male, female, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Same.
You know what I like? Athletic, muscular.
Yeah,
ready,
I see that.
Ready to do some damage if need be.
Good for you.
He may have done some boxing as well. Huh. Oof. British Bulldog he is.
Something about that chair being a big fan of guys who box. All right.
It's the sweet science.
Absolutely. All right.
What do you want to say? You want to hear Johnny Damon first in the booth yesterday?
Yeah, so
Sure,
Nesson
okay.
had a collection of the Boston Red Sox. They were up and at 'em. They were all out there. They were honoring the 2004 championship Red Sox team. That's even before I moved here, a couple years before I moved here. And here is Johnny Damon up in the booth.
Johnny, great to see you. Wonderful visit. Johnny Damon still with the best hair in baseball. Yes. No question about it.
And the sweetest ass.
Now, this is a little ribald for a matinee, for a home opener at Fenway Park.
This is a guy who has been on Below Deck, though. So Johnny Depp has been on Below Deck.
Johnny Depp?
No, I mean Johnny. Same difference.
I would like
same
to
lifestyle.
I'd like to see Johnny Depp on Below Deck.
Yeah.
I don't know if they could stock enough wine on that.
Yeah, I just think
boat.
he'd be sitting drinking wine in the dark. All right, go ahead.
Baseball. Yes. No question about it.
And the sweetest ass.
You say it. No.
Biceps. And I always brought my A game, guys. So.
Boy, they're really cutting up and having a good time with Johnny Damon.
He said ass, and that elicited that kind of response.
Yes. O'Brien, very worried immediately. The second that happened.
Well, they really are talking like you. I mean, you couldn't say that on the Cosby Show, but you could say it on Cheers. Mm-hmm. So that was 9 o'clock on Thursday nights, not at 8. By the way, the Cosby Show's still on television.
Yes, on Oprah's network, right?
On the One Network.
Well, it's One Network.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was on last night.
So, Wallach, were you watching the thing unfold, the pregame?
I DVR'd it and watched a little bit of it later, but yes, I did see it.
Okay, so explain to me the usage of American Pie, because again, I've been driving around Brookline looking for a place to park while this is all happening.
Okay. The reason American Pie was there is because it was a really long montage. So they needed one song, because American Pie does not fit anything that was going on yesterday at all.
Well, it fits what's going on in the country right now.
Sure it does.
I mean, American Pie is the song. Like, whenever you see a documentary of 2024, it's going to be my Miss American Pie.
It fits the generation of people that watch baseball now. God forbid you have anything from the last 50 years. No, we need something from the early 70s that's 7 minutes long.
It was either that or Inagata Davida.
Well, maybe a Stairway to Heaven. You could have done that. I don't know.
No one's driving home from the Kowloon, so there's no need to use that.
Yep.
And they played the whole song?
The entire song.
This will be the day that I die.
As they were
the
getting
crowd was brought to their asses. They were willing to stand, and then they went, "Oh, well, we're doing this."
Yeah.
I mean, what? And the players, I mean, especially the players from all over the world, had to have been very excited that this song was playing.
There was the announcement of the 2004 World Series championship team. By the way, I think it was around the third verse of American Pie when I got the alert on my phone from ESPN. Start of Boston-Baltimore has been delayed.
Oh.
There was an actual ESPN notification. I'm thinking, there's no rain. At that point, I was parallel parking at that point when I got the notification.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, I wonder if there's been some kind of an incident. I think it was just the pregame stuff was taking so long.
Well, they played all of American Pie. I mean, that's 35 minutes right there.
Oh, my God.
I mean, not only is it like just not what you would play or not cool, like they didn't have anyone. I mean, you don't need a long song under any circumstances. You could take many songs.
I was just going to say, is there a rule against segueing from one song to another? Why did we need one?
Yeah.
Why did we need American Pie? Why did we need that song?
I don't understand. I don't like everything they've done is just weird. Like the whole hype up for the season with the people in the orchestra, and it just was all, what are you doing? It's just the PR people are not really hitting home runs here.
It's always been weird. When they brought Keith Lockhart out and they did Fanfare at Fenway and they would do these things forced isn't even the word. It just seems weird.
Yeah.
I know you're trying to, create some sense of gravitas and meaning, but it sometimes just comes off as weird. Anyway, the 2004 team, many of them were there.
In 2004, the Boston Red Sox emerged from an 86-year-long shadow of defeat and disappointment. With free-flowing hair, undeniable talent, and an unwavering will to win, this carefree and spirited group looked to achieve the impossible and reward the faith of generations of Red Sox fans.
I'm sorry I missed all this. I wish I were in the park for.
They had long, wavy hair, all of them. All right.
Well, more on that in a few minutes, Fred.
Okay,
that's actually
absolutely.
a good tease.
Absolutely. All right. Also, Hardy's got this barber that you've talked to about the opening day situation. We'll hear from him. We'll be back in just a moment.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way on the Sports Hub.
Hey, everybody. Watch Toucher and Hardy every morning on YouTube. We are now on YouTube, which I guess is much more profitable. Sometimes up to 3,000 people watching the stream.
Really?
Which is like a middle-of-the-road ASMRist. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe to keep up to date with all the best moments from Boston's Home for Sports. You ever watch that ASMR, John?
I do. We talked about this. You are like an ice skating guy, or what was it, like people skating across ice that puts you to sleep?
No, that must be someone else. That must be another handsome fella that you know.
What ASMR works for you?
Usually, I can't see the person. I don't like seeing the person. I like it to be from their eyes view. It usually a man voice. I think anything like Bob Rossian, because everyone had that experience with Bob, or a lot of people had that experience with Bob Ross.
Yeah.
That you would find yourself hypnotized. You would get a physical feeling in your head, like a physical sensation of like a what do you call it? Like a numbing kind of like tickling sensation in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And you would find yourself just watching them. And people make fun of it, but that's not why you watched it. You watched it because it soothed you in some kind of degree. So now people have gone to the internet, and they have been for years now. I mean, some of us have known about this for 10 years, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people that do it online, and they can talk to you. But I don't know where you got ice skating from.
I thought I remember you talking about that
Yeah.
and how that was soothing to you.
Yeah,
Must have been some other guy.
Well, yeah, like you get soothed looking at videos of cats.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's got their.
That would scare the hell out of you.
For me, it's the voice of Jim Nantz, especially on the weekends when we're looking at what's happening there at Augusta National, Fred.
You're not allowed to raise your voice while you're calling Augusta National, are you?
You're not allowed. You're not allowed to say a lot of things. You're not allowed to call the people their fans. They must be referred to as patrons. You're not allowed to talk about flags or pins. I believe they are whole locations.
Are there people walking around with decibel meters, making sure that none of you are talking too loudly on the course?
Not when I was there, John. It's
Okay.
it's a very welcoming atmosphere, and there's no need. There's no need really for any policing of that kind.
It's a given. You guys know this walking onto the ground.
Everyone knows how to behave and act when they're on the ground.
I see. So it's not like the Waste Management Open in Scottsdale. Nothing like that.
No, it was very, very unlike that.
Okay.
You know, the tee times were announced yesterday, Fred. Did you see this?
No, I did not. I don't usually care.
What do you mean you don't care? It's the first round of the Masters. It's
By the way,
tomorrow.
Augusta National started in 1933. That's like new.
It's
compared to other. Why Augusta National?
Well,
it has to have something to do with slavery.
No, it has nothing to do with slavery.
It has to have a bad history. That has to have Augusta National reeks of bad history.
Well, Bobby Jones was among the people who wanted to have a tournament that kind of highlighted the South and all the great players that were playing down there, and he wanted another major championship before there was such thing as a major championship to go along with the U.S. Open, the Open Championship, which takes place in the UK.
During his presidency, Eisenhower visited Augusta National 29 times.
Both the U.S. Amateur and the British Amateur, those were the four, quote-unquote major championships of the day. Before there was a PGA championship and before there was.
Oh, here's something. I wonder if Jim Nantz reached this. All right, keep the sound going. For decades, Augusta National barred membership to African Americans. As long as I'm alive, said co-founder Roberts, who subsequently served as the club's chairman, all golfers will be white and all caddies will be black.
A tradition unlike any other.
You don't get the music
Masters
for that. It's not without its problems. Well, now I get to talk?
No, this is a good one. This is a good thing.
Play the music.
Augusta invited and accepted its first African-American member, television executive Ron Townsend, in 1990.
Oh, boy.
So from 1933 till 1990. So you know when when Nicholas won that Masters in '86?
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, he's
no
got the
blacks
putter in the
allowed.
air. Well,
only white people.
Only whites.
Yep.
But that's the place.
Of course it wasn't right. And you look at it now and you say, how could that happen? It happened at so many golf courses.
Yeah, that means it right.
Every state, every city. And there were these
most golf courses did not allow black people in 1990. That I will give you.
There were many places that did not. Fred, close to where you grew up.
Oakland Hills?
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure there couldn't have been black members at Oakland Hills.
In 1990, I can assure you.
I don't know
that
about
Oakland Hills
1990, but what year was it acceptable for?
I bet the latest is 1970 for Oakland Hills.
All right,
and I didn't even belong there. And I'm also not sitting here celebrating Oakland Hills. But I like how you're comparing how savage the racism is, as if Oakland Hills did it too.
Which one of those courses insists upon itself? Which one?
We're out here with Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods would not have been allowed to be a member or any of his descendants.
What a story. And he won the Masters.
And he won the Masters much to the... But, oh, no, here's Fuzzy Zeller. Fuzzy, what will he be having for his dinner? Oh, that's very racist. Congratulations to the Masters. At least Lou Holtz is a member.
First round is tomorrow, right?
You got that right, Jack. We got a guy to talk about it. We're just going to talk about the
that's
horrible
right.
racial
what's
problems.
coming up? What's coming up, Hardy?
I don't know. He's too busy scrolling through the Wikipedia of Oakland Hills to prove some point to himself. No, listen, you don't belong to Augusta. It's not your fault.
I heard Annika Storenstamp just became a member last year.
Congratulations. She's black, right? All right, so we'll be right back. No commercials here, just the
This
headlines.
is a history written by the club. I don't think they're going to include this information in here.
Very good.
I don't think I'm going to find it.
No commercials, just the headlines.
WBCN from the Town Fair Tire Studios, the home of the Patriots, the Celts, the Revs, and the Bruins. Boston's home for sports is 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
Let's start with the Bruins. They got a goal from Charlie McAvoy, but that's all they got in a 4-1 loss to Carolina. Andrei Svechnikov had a highlight goal and an assist to lead the visitors. The Bruins division lead now down to 3 points with 3 to go. They're off until Saturday night when they're in Pittsburgh. Celtics had their 5-game winning streak snapped in Milwaukee last night, 104-91. Patrick Beverley, 20 points for the Bucks. But they also lost Giannis Antetokounmpo in the second half with a non-contact leg injury. They're calling it a strained calf. ESPN is reporting at this hour Giannis's Achilles tendon is intact, and it is just a calf strain. Celtics will play the Knicks back at TD Garden tomorrow night. Red Sox lost their home opener 7-1 to Baltimore. Tyler O'Neill a home run, but the Sox managed 2 hits for the day, and their last 18 hitters went down in order. They face the Orioles again tonight, but they're going to be missing some key people. Craig Breslow said yesterday he's lost his starting shortstop for the season.
He is in fact scheduled to have surgery. After speaking with our medical staff, further confirmation on a second opinion and Trevor's decision to go forward over the bony structure. He's got a fracture of the glenoid rim, so he'll have surgery on Friday to fix that with Dr. Elatrash.
Trevor Story out at least 6 months. The Sox yesterday placed Nick Pivetta on the injured list with a flexor strain in his pitching elbow. By the way, the Orioles have reportedly called up top prospect Jackson Holliday. And the New England Revolution beaten by Club America last night in Mexico City 5-2. Giacomo Vrioni scored both goals for the Revs. They were bounced 9-2 on aggregate in the CONCACAF U.S. Open Cup quarterfinals. They visit New York City FC Saturday night. Sports Hub headlines are delivered by Service Credit Union. They've teamed with Charlie McAvoy to defend New England's heroes. They're raising $200,000 to cover cancer screens for Madison, New Hampshire firefighters and heart screens for Madison, New Hampshire police officers. Get details at servicecu.org/73. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
You want to talk sports? We want to talk sports.
Squeeze the chicken and open the mouth.
It's like we were meant for each other.
This is why you need us.
98.5 The Sports Hub. Half toucher.
It's like a gorilla.
Half Hardy.
A big, beautiful ball of flame.
And a whole lot Boston Sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider. Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. Subscribe to keep up to date with all the best moments from Boston's home for sports. Well, we know Hardy went to the Red Sox home opener, but before that, he is very loyal. We've learned that about Hardy since he's been here. He's very, very loyal.
Yeah.
And he's not afraid to make a friend.
Well, I started going to this guy when he had a barber shop in Dedham. Dedham, his name is Abdo, and the barber shop closed in Dedham, and it was a bummer. And I started going to another shop where my son still goes to there in Norwood, Chris and Sam's, and Sam's great, and I love those guys, but I started feeling bad, and I started going back to Abdo, and I'm glad I did, because he's a great guy, and he's a wonderful barber. And you know what, Fred? I think we learn things about ourselves and about the world when we open our hearts and minds to friendship. And Abdo is from Morocco, and the things I learn when speaking to him about the world outside of my own, and it really is. It's a wonderful way to just open your heart and mind to just allow people into your life. And I'm glad, grateful even, that Abdo has allowed me into his and he into mine, and we become friends. And I visited him yesterday before the baseball game, but I wanted to get his thoughts on the Red Sox. But Abdo, not a big sports fan, despite having a shop downtown Boston for years, decades now. Not a huge fan of sports, so instead I thought I would ask him about something he did know about, and that is hair. So I brought along photographs of various Red Sox players from the 2004 World Championship team, and asked him to comment on their hair.
Oh.
So this was the idea. I will show you the photograph that I showed him first.
Is that Salted Machia?
I believe this is Bellhorn. Can you tell from that?
I think that's Bellhorn.
Yes,
okay,
I think it's Bellhorn.
Mark Bellhorn. So this was the first photo that I showed Abdo, as he was a little bit reluctant at first. He's a busy guy. You know, he did a lot of renovations in his own shop. He's got appointments before and after, so he was a little bit reluctant to take the time for the interview, but we get past that early on. I want to ask your professional opinion about Red Sox players' hair. Is this okay? If we use this for the radio?
Are you starting?
I'm starting now.
Okay.
You ready? Okay, let's go.
Can we start cutting hair? Because
you can start cutting hair too. We'll do it all at the same time. This is Mark Bellhorn.
I'm going to say what I believe. I don't see those type of haircut anymore.
It's very curly and it kind of looks wet.
Curly is just, it seems like he lives in a tree. He lives in a tree. It seems like there is some nest over there, and then I see the birds, they fly out all over his body.
John, is that true?
I have much shorter hair, Fred. I can't speak.
Well, no, I'm saying, would Bellhorn's hair be something you're attracted to?
Oh, no. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
What about the beard on this guy?
Well, the beard seems like it's a patchy beard. First of all, I don't see it's a complete beard. It seems like he's a joke.
All right. Well, he does not like Mark Bellhorn. By the way, can we talk about Hardy driving into town to Newberry Street and parking his vehicle because he's so loyal to this fella?
Paying, I would imagine, an exorbitant price to park there.
Well, yesterday it was nice because my wife dropped me off.
Oh.
And circled the block several times while I was getting my haircut before we tried to drive over to Fenway. But other times, yes, I will drive down there and find some street parking.
Just out of loyalty for this fella. He moved his shop, and Hardy moved with him.
No, he always had that shop. He closed the Dedham shop. He had opened up a secondary shop, but then he closed it. So now he's full-time
Still
there.
impressive, though.
It's a great haircut. What can I say?
I mean, when you look at you, you're always showing off your hair. First of all.
I tend to wear a hat on this show.
Yeah, the Masters.
First thing in the morning. I am wearing a Masters hat today.
You know, that club let in their first African-American member in 1990.
You know, the country club that you are so fond of talking about going to, they admitted there's a first black member around the same time.
That's terrible.
And
But I don't sit here waxing poetic about the country club.
of course you do. How many times have you mentioned the wedding that you went to at the country club?
And of course,
I'd
that
say
country club has its own theme song, like that club did.
Yeah, and everyone's like gathering around.
Okay.
They just haven't had anyone write one for him.
He
yet.
just went to like racist country clubs and went through a list and was like, "See,"
That's
and I'm like, "That doesn't make it
kind
right."
of redundant, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of. Depends. I mean, that's why there's so many Jewish clubs in all realities, because Jewish people had to open up their own clubs.
That's how Blue Hill started. It's how Kernwood Country Club on the North Shore started. Great.
You know who was a member of Blue Hill? Was Maddie. Took me out there, made me play from the blues. Not cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
All right, what's next?
This guy.
Okay, so this is Millar when he had blonde, long hair.
This is Kevin Millar again,
All right.
asking Abdo, the expert in hair, about the hair of various members of the 2004 Red Sox team.
What about this guy? This is Kevin Millar.
There's a Red Sox player.
This is him pictured in 2004.
He's still alive.
It's what?
He's still alive.
He's still alive, yes.
Wow, he looks like dead to me. I'm sorry. He looks dead because it seems like, the mouth is the crazy shape. What is this, a goatee? What is what is this?
Well, he's got some color in his hair.
Oh, he has a highlight. I agree. So anyway, this hair, I don't see anymore. I'm sorry, I have not had any customer for the last 10 years. I don't see those haircuts anymore.
Why would he color your hair if you asked him already? Does he color your hair?
I don't know that he would. If he doesn't think it's the right thing to do, I don't think he would do it. Like, if I wanted to darken my hair and take out, like, some of the gray, I don't know that he would.
If you asked for a haircut he didn't want to do, would he do it?
I think he's going to do what he knows is the best thing to do, regardless of what you want.
Is he the only guy in there?
Generally, he's got another barber or two that works in there, but he runs a pretty tight ship.
Does he have
runs
any
it himself.
playboys or hustlers?
No.
Why?
There's usually
he calls it a barbershop, and there's no playboys or hustlers when you walk in.
I call this whole thing into question.
There's one TV, and it's generally showing soccer, and yesterday, very hardcore rap. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know if that's just what was on the channel when he put it up there, but it was,
He just had old tapes of the box, and he was just playing those.
Yeah.
Cash money. All right. And finally, who do we have here?
I thought I'd just get his thoughts on
Pedro Martinez.
This guy right there.
Young
And
Pedro Martinez.
Got it.
2004.
Okay, and finally, this was one of the greatest pictures. This is Pedro Martinez.
Oh, my God. So the people that used to go to game to watch those people?
Well, yes, this was the world they broke the curse. This is the 2004 World Series champion Boston Red Sox.
And then you couldn't find barbers, those guys, at that time? There was no barber cutting hair. All of them like this? It's sad. I'm sorry. I was here. No one called me. No one gave me a call. I would be happy to do their hair and make them better and make all of them better.
People want to come get a haircut from you. What's the name of your shop?
It's Anfa Barber Shop. It's the most popular shop in America. Period.
Where are we located?
Robert Poole. My friend, ask Robert Poole. Ask him where he gets haircut, and then you can judge me.
And where are we? The corner of what and what?
Gloucester, between Carmel and Newberry Street.
Oh, Newberry Street. Can't hide money. You're doing very well.
Well, I'm doing okay. I can get those guys, yes. I do a better job than this. Sorry.
He should read his own ads, because I know exactly where he's located now and the name of the shop and everything.
Yeah. Anfa Barbershop.
Now, is he like a fancy guy? Like a Vidal Sassoon type of fella?
No. Very hardworking guy. I mean, I think he's trained, like he may be a master mechanic. And that's, what he originally started doing. Then he started cutting hair a couple of decades ago. But he's one of these guys that can do anything. He can renovate his own shop. He can fix your truck. He can fix your truck. He can also give you a hell of a haircut.
You got his number in your phone?
Of course. How do you think I make my appointments? I don't go online.
Do you text him?
I just
Have you ever
text him.
texted him like, just, hey, how you doing?
No. He is too busy for that. He doesn't have time for chit-chat.
All right. Well, Mike Gorman does. Our friend Mike Gorman. It's Mike Gorman Day at the Boston Garden this Sunday. The last regular game, season game of the year. Mike Gorman will be being honored, and we get to talk to the man just after this.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
The cat is finally out of the bag.
Get up. We're back. Toucher and Hardy. Get up.
98.5 The Sports Hub. Mike Gorman was also honored tonight at the JFK Award dinner in Holyoke. The John Fitzgerald Kennedy National Award is presented annually to an American of Irish descent who has distinguished themselves in their chosen field.
I'm Mike Gorman, along with Tom Heinzen. Welcome to our coverage of Celtic basketball. Out of bounds. Who's got it? Detroit ball with 5 seconds to go. Thomas wants to get it in quickly. Does to Lambier. Stolen by Bird on the cut to DJ.
Mike Gorman, hello.
Good morning.
Have you ever, we were talking, he's angry as hell, he's not going to take it anymore. Mr. Mike Gorman, hello, sir.
You're exactly right. I am angry as hell.
One thing I want to get in here, you're only as good as the people around you. And we get good people around us here. Paul, Jim, Zach, Jeff, Scal, Tommy, Abby. I've been blessed with good people. Burke, who still owes me a gold chain. Again, you grew up like I did in the city of Boston. You spent your youth listening to Kurt Gowdy, so to be in the same sentence as Kurt Gowdy, that's pretty cool. Here, trying to free himself from Baramute, gets it on the curl, takes it, makes it.
Celtic legend, somebody that's been doing this for a very, very long time, and people adore and love and respect. And hopefully, we can send them out on a high note and win it all this year.
Career of Mike Gorman, the great Mike Gorman, being honored at Mike Gorman Day at the TD Garden, the final final regular season game going on Sunday. Mike Gorman is the voice of the Boston Celtics for NBC Sports Boston, and Mike is brought to you by Bentley University, proud partner of the Boston Celtics, preparing the next generation of business leaders to be a force on and off the court. Bentley University, a force for business, a force for good. Mike joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Mike, I will have all those gift certificates we promised to you in hand.
That should be your gift that you present him with, it in a nice envelope with a big ribbon around it.
Yeah, Mike, if they're, I'm sure they're honoring you on the court. If you would like, I could give the people the gift certificates so they could be included in what they hand you.
We should just keep that between you and I. You and me, Frank.
It really is intimate. I don't.
Yeah,
let's not share it with the world.
What useless gifts do you expect to be presented with? Will there be the customary rocking chair?
Yeah, of course.
Will there be like a driver that you haven't been fitted for that you may not like anyway? And
there's a piece of the parquet. He's going to get that.
A piece
right?
of the. Well, that's nice. I would actually like that. But what else do you expect, Mike?
I'm trying to stay away from that, Hardy, because they've done a really good job of keeping me out of the loop. I keep asking, like, what can I do? What can I expect? And they just say, just show up. We'll take care of everything. So I have no idea what to expect in terms of what is going to be, if anything, presented to me. So, I don't know, to be honest with you. I really don't. I think they told me to tell people who I have coming to be there for the pregame and the postgame as well as the halftime. So it seems... usually it's a halftime 10-minute thing, and bingo, you're in and out, and that's the end of that tune. But it seems like it's more than that. So it'll be nice, I'm sure.
Do you know if you're going to be required to speak at all at this thing?
Yes, that's a good question. And I didn't prepare remarks for the last thing I did up in Holyoke, and I wish I had in advance when they asked me to speak, and I thought it was really kind of terrible. So I will try to prepare something and hope that they don't ask me to do it, John. That's how I'm going in.
Will you cry, Mike?
Yeah, well, John, what do you call that? Do you call it some sort of syndrome last time you were on? People who do that, me and John Boehner, remember him?
No, I don't think I had the syndrome name for it, no.
Yeah, but I do tend to get overly emotional. I do. I don't want to cry. Believe me, if anything does happen, it'll be totally beyond my control. I'm hoping. I have a 15-month-old grandchild who is going to be there, and I'm going to try to. I think I'm going to take her and bring her out with me. If they ask me if I'm staying separate from anyplace else, I think I'm going to try to bring her with me, and hopefully she'll agree with that idea. And that may distract me enough that I won't get teary over what might be being said. But no guarantees there, John. That it might, it wasn't a dry eye in the place. Well, it might not be a dry eye in the place.
No, I think that's smart to bring the baby out there with you because it'll limit your chances of getting booed because the crowd can turn on you in these things.
I had to count on that. Hey, by the way, you have a lot of fans, Hardy, over at Meet Boston, which is a great organization that's doing a lot to try to promote the city. But I was over there talking to them yesterday about some things, and your name came up, and you have great support there. They think you're the best thing in sliced bread.
Oh, that's very nice to hear. Thank you.
Yeah.
Did he say anything about John?
Yeah, apparently not. No.
No.
Thanks, Mike.
Nothing about John. Not much about you either, Fred.
Well, I don't do anything for charity. I mean, they're not gonna say anything about me.
Oh, by the way, I thought you guys earlier on talking to Masters, bikini wax. You left that one off.
Oh yeah, that's what. Who was the announcer that got into trouble for that?
Gary McCord.
Yeah, he was the guy with the mustache that they banned, Gary McCord.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he was banned from the grounds for life.
Well, I happen to agree with that. I think that is working blue, and that's not required in any circumstances, especially on the hallowed grounds of Augusta, which is not without its flaws.
Have
as
you
Fred
been
is
there,
about to point out.
Mike? Have you been there to Augusta?
No, I'm not. No.
Do you think you'd cry when you entered if you went?
Only if I was with Jim Nance, yeah.
Because you would have to spend time with him, I understand. And you'd say, oh, boy, this guy can't get over himself.
That's Jim's thing, though. That's the Masters and Jim. They will forever be locked together.
Yeah,
which is great. It's a great legacy from Jim.
It's great for him. I find it annoying and a bit pretentious, but I don't get it. Hardy cried when he went to Augusta National, when he went to the Masters, and I don't think he's alone. I think there's plenty of people that feel that way. Just I don't get it at all. I don't understand it.
I didn't.
Did you get to play the course?
No. I went there for one round once 3 years ago, and Fred says that I cried. I got emotional. I got a little misty-eyed. I got a little teary-eyed as I was walking through the gates because, finally this is what I wanted to do my whole life. There's, the cliche bucket list. There's only a couple things on mine in terms of sports things. And that was one thing I wanted to do. And I really didn't know if I'd ever be able to do it. And when I finally got in, and it is, as you're walking in, it is immediately everything I thought it was going to be and more. And yeah, I got emotional, which is odd for, someone like Fred, but it wasn't odd for me. And I don't think it'll be odd for you if you get emotional on Sunday.
It's one and the same. They'll be honoring your career and what a fantastic legacy you've left and how you're a part of this city. And Hardy walked in with a ticket to a golf course race. So I like Hardy. Hey, we're on the same team.
I was trying to bring it back to Gorman and talk about what he's here to talk about. Not here to talk about me crying. We're here to talk about him and honor him. Can we honor Mike, please?
One last question, Hardy, about this. No, to move on to everyone. Isn't it right off like the equivalent of Route 1?
Oh, it's not quite as nice as Route 1.
Yeah. People tell me, because if you just see it on TV, you're thinking it's located on thousands of acres in the middle of the woods and just gorgeous. And in reality, Harry's Bar and Grill is right around the corner.
Oh yeah. I literally the day before I went, I flew in the night before, and I was hungry, and they had an Arby's there. And as you know, there's no Arby's around here. So I went to Arby's to get myself a beef and cheddar, and I was sitting in the parking lot eating it alone in my rental car, staring at the entrance to Augusta. You could see it from the Arby's. So it's
okay. Yeah.
That's where it's located.
They would never let you know, and CBS certainly is careful what they shoot. You never would see. You would think again, it's in the middle of nowhere.
No.
Yeah, I mean it's Augusta. Augusta's a nothing city. All right, so Mike,
yes.
What are your emotions going into this weekend right now in terms of? That you'll be calling playoff games. Sunday's not your last game as an announcer. What are your emotions? What's the plan? What are you thinking right now?
I haven't really thought about it too much in the sense of emotions. If I do, I'll start to get teary, and I don't want to do that. There are a lot of people to thank, and I don't want to go down some laundry list of 5,000 people that I want to thank for what has been the hospitality, I guess is the best way to put it, that's been extended to me by everybody there. So I'm not sure how I'm going to handle that. I just sort of keep my speaking as quick as possible. My understanding is they're going to do something at halftime, and then there's going to be a reception afterwards. That might be where I might be asked to say a few words. And I hope that's the way it goes. I don't know if I want the microphone in center court with people may go. It's halftime. People may go up to go, well, they need to do it at halftime. So I'm not sure how filled the stands will be when this is actually going on. But, I'm just talking in circles here, Fred. I don't have any expectation. I don't have any ideas as to what they're going to do.
It's nice. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big deal. But can I tell you something to put you at ease? Is that the thing you did on the Today Show, the interviews you've done on this show. I saw a thing they did on EEI. They did a thing about the guy who provides your stats. You've done an excellent job without putting a laundry list, with putting stories behind it. The guy's responsible for your career. You've talked about security guys at the Garden. You've talked about the guy who does your stats, who's done that forever. You've talked about cameramen. I mean, throughout this process, you've been very good about naming these people. So don't feel like in a rush to be doing it on Sunday or whenever you choose to, because you have given a lot of people a lot of credit in a very sincere way, in a very natural way over the last month or 2 months.
Well, thank you. That was my goal. I don't, I want to deflect as much of it off me as I can, because it's not like I go out there and sing and dance and have some unique talent. I don't. I'm a part of a group that gets together and puts together a production. It's a show, and it involves a whole lot of people. It's not just me. Those people need to be named and get credit before I leave.
Yeah, and it's obvious that you value those people and that the people have been around for a long time. You can always come back to radio, Mike. There's always a home for you on the radio.
Because we know that's what you really want.
I mean, everyone's dream is to go from TV to radio.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would like to be a regular contributor to your show going forward, actually.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I thought that was without any hesitation.
Great.
I thought you want to be a part of the show. That was the plan. I'm talking about, like, if you ever want to call like a Patriots game or something on the radio, you come down here and call a game.
Yeah, no, I do have an invitation. I'm told by the guy who set this up to throw out the ball at a Red Sox game sometime this month, and that's going to be very cool.
Now, are you going to practice that? Are you going to practice?
Bet your ass up,
because that is because as someone, I've never thrown out the first ball at Fenway, obviously, but as someone who has experienced the yips after hitting a child with a baseball, there are many ways that can go wrong. That are hidden deep in your mind.
Being the best example of that, yeah.
Oh, that was awful, and you know it, and I know it, and that's why it's so terrible. So yes, you'll be practicing that.
No question. I'm driving my wife crazy because I'm throwing this tennis ball around this apartment we have up here. She comes walking around the corner and I get a pen stenciled across your forehead. I think I'm going to be able to do it. It's a very familiar motion.
Oh yeah, but it's just you can't get
in muscle memory.
Yeah, the whole thing is don't think. Right. You gotta release. You gotta be in the present. You can't be thinking. You can't. Just, get it. You just get up there and just enjoy the crowd and the day and make the throw. Because it doesn't even have to get there.
And I don't want to throw, I've seen some guys look at some footage of some people who've done this, and I don't want to throw some pop-up, No. I'm going to try to throw a strike and see what happens.
Yeah, you're better off, like, short hopping it to the guy than you are, like, throwing it on, like, you're better off. Yeah, I agree with you.
That's wimpy. That's real wimpy.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. That's good. All right, so you got the first pitch. You got Mike Gorman night on Mike Gorman Day on Sunday.
Yeah,
and
I will do the first round of the playoffs. I will do, and then that's it for all of us then, because of that stupid agreement that the NBA has made. They took the money and run ESPN and ABC/ESPN TNT move into all the games starting on. Second round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Whom the Celtics, I don't know. It'll either be the Hawks, the Heat, or the 76ers. I'd love to see the 76ers. I think it'd be a great first round series. I don't want to go to Miami again because Miami has a funny way of beating the Celtics. I don't want to even deal with that.
You'd rather play Miami than Philadelphia?
No, I'd rather play Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I know that's what I'm saying. You'd rather play Miami. So okay, so even with the Embiid back,
No, Fred,
he wants to play
He
Philadelphia.
wants Philadelphia. He doesn't want Miami.
that's what I'm saying.
No, that you're saying the exact
I'm
opposite.
saying he'd rather play Miami than Philadelphia.
No.
Am I hearing this wrong?
No.
No, that's
You're
not
not.
what I'm
You're
saying
right.
at
Oh no, he'd rather play Philadelphia.
Yes,
than Miami.
that's correct.
Whoopsies.
There you go. That's okay. I was just a little blind. It does happen when you get your age, Fred. You just have to have those moments.
There's gonna be a party for me on Friday. This is my last day here. I've been told.
Well, that's the news. They want it to be me, Hardy, and John going forward.
I understand that I've been removed. But I have grown. I didn't just turn around and start yelling at you guys for being wrong. I did realize there was a chance I was wrong.
You started insisting on it.
It was
but then you
bizarre.
stopped.
All right. Okay.
weird.
I admit it. I made a mistake. I
3
didn't yell.
times.
I didn't yell at anyone. All right. But okay.
I never get said 2 or 3 times over and over. Like,
All right.
come on, guys.
I got my words mixed up. I'm dyslexic. All right. Embiid doesn't scare you more than Miami.
Embiid does, yeah, and I think it'll be a heck of a series. With Miami is Miami doesn't scare me. They haven't scared me in the past, and yet last year we don't have to go look beyond last year to see what can happen if you play them. They seem to have a way of stepping up in big games. They are very, very well coached, and they come up with schemes that sometimes takes the opposition longer to get than one would like. Purely on talent, you look at the 2 rosters; it's not even close to no contest at all. But again, if we've looked at that in the past, it doesn't really matter. It's a longer trip physically. I don't want to. I want to put the temptation of Miami Beach waving in front of these kids in the playoffs. I would just soon get on a short plane flight or a train and go to Philadelphia.
All right. And are you going to be doing the away games during the playoffs?
The first round, yeah. I'll do. Yeah, I'm doing every game.
Okay, good.
Yep.
All right, great.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, when it's like a short jaunt, I mean, not short in distance maybe, but you're not investing 6 months of your life into it. I'm sure it's nicer.
Yeah, maybe you can jump on a train. You guys should come down and do a remote broadcast down there. You are actually the station for the Celtics, right?
We are the flagship station for your Boston.
Yeah, I would go down to
Yeah.
Philadelphia. I could see my ex-wife's family. It would be excellent.
Oh, they would love to see you.
Oh, and I would love to see them.
That would be a moment.
That would really be. But yeah, we should come down. Listen, I would go to Philadelphia and broadcast.
I got no problem with that.
Absolutely. All right. Mike
All
Gorman.
right, we'll start that ball rolling soon later on in the meeting.
And it will go as well as when, remember, I was going to broadcast with you in Scal in Detroit. They were all for that. Mike Gorman tried to get me on a broadcast with him. And
Fred got canceled before that was a thing.
And we were on his network. All right, Mike. Can we talk to you next week, hopefully?
Yeah, hopefully.
All right. Very
Why
good.
not?
Good. All right. Thank you,
guys.
Mike. We'll
Thank
talk to you next week.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, you bet. See you guys.
All right. Take it easy. Mike Gorman.
It doesn't happen often in one's lifetime where everyone sets aside their day to honor you. And this is what's going to happen to him on Sunday night. And it sounds like he's approaching it just the way anybody should. Just let it happen. I'm so happy for him. He deserves it.
Do you think you'll be as gracious when it happens for you, Wallach?
Yeah, right.
What will Brian do for you 40 years from now when you broadcast your last game?
They don't even remember I do the games now. I don't know if they would
I
ever
find
give
that
me
hard to believe, Mr. Modest over there. Mike Gorman has been presented by Bentley University. A force for business, a force for good.
Is that because of the master stuff crap I gave you earlier?
It was so funny.
Yeah.
I laughed when you said Fred got canceled before that was a thing.
That's true.
And when Fred said, "What will Brian do for you?" I laughed. I laugh at funny things. I can't help it. I'm not playing favorites. I'm not trying to level the playing field.
By the way,
they were both funny things.
That remains a big mystery why they would not let you call the Detroit game.
I don't know.
I don't know that it's all that mysterious.
Oh, of course it's mysterious. Have you seen the people they ran through there before they settled on the current people they have now?
Can I ask what year this was to take place?
6-7 years ago.
Yeah,
like
I would have sided with the network on that one.
Are you afraid I would have been out of control?
Yes.
No, though there's no evidence of that.
No, of course not.
Before the problems really popped up.
Yeah. There were small windows. Really rapid falling apart. It was with long, decent times. All right. Well, anyway, the Mike Gorman Day is on Sunday. That should be a lot of fun. You'll be able to hear it here on the station. Watch it on NBC Sports. And if you're going to the game, give the man a round of applause. We'll be right back.
Sports Hub headlines.
Bruins lost to Carolina last night, 4-1 at TD Garden. Charlie McAvoy, the only goal for the Bruins. Their lead is 3 points for the division with 3 games left. They visit Pittsburgh Saturday night. Celtics lost in Milwaukee, 104-91. That snaps a 5-game winning streak. They will play the Knicks tomorrow night at TD Garden. Giannis Antetokounmpo left last night's game from Milwaukee with a left calf strain. ESPN is reporting this morning that it's all that is. An MRI revealed that the Achilles tendon for Giannis is intact, and the Red Sox lost their home opener to Baltimore 7-1 at Fenway Park. They'll play the Orioles again tonight. Also, some injury news. Trevor Story out for the season. He'll undergo shoulder surgery on Friday. Nick Pivetta placed on the injured list before the game. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the Albrecht Auto Group, Zoe's Auto Dealer. Get respected Albrecht with 7 locations and thousands of new and pre-owned vehicles. Get the right vehicle at the right price now at albrechtauto.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston Toll for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9 o'clock.
Marchand back of the net. Shoots, he scores!
This is Brad Marchand.
Brad Marchand.
Every Bruins game on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
This hour of Toucher and Hardy is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Watch Toucher and Hardy every morning on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. And subscribe to keep up to date with all the best moments from Boston's home from sports. As coming up, we have a guest that Hardy has been just dreaming about.
Insisting on.
You didn't have to insist because no one was going to get in your way.
This is a guy who's been on, we've had him on the Midday Show. He's a very good writer. His name is Bob Harig, and covers the Masters every year, but he has a new book, too, about Tiger. So, yeah, we're going to have him on.
It's a book about Tiger?
The book is called Drive.
About a Tiger's last Masters championship, right?
Yes. From what I understand, I've not read the whole thing yet. I mean, I tried getting through it. We were all sent a copy. I was working under the impression that we had all started to read the copy we were sent in email form. But can you do that? Can you read like on a Kindle or read like a lot of stuff on a computer screen or a tablet?
I prefer the tactile nature of a physical book.
Exclusively.
Yeah,
I can't do it on it.
I listen to books because I have to walk my dog for several hours a day, so I do listen to books. And if the book's good, I'll listen to it in the car, even though it's not great to listen to it in the car. You can't I'm thinking about too much other stuff.
Yeah.
When I'm walking the dog, I can really invest my time into the book. But it's if I read actual books. I have them all over my house. Most of them unread. People come over, they think I'm very well read, and that's the idea. I have this false intellectualism.
Leather-bound, like things.
Oh, volumes of Shakespeare and Wordsworth and Longfellow. All the greats. But Hardy this is a book about Tiger Woods. I would like to see a book about Tiger Woods written from the Perkins waitress's perspective.
Well, listen, he goes through a lot of this stuff. It's not just about his last
He
major.
goes with the Perkins, and that she was that time of the month.
Yeah,
for her?
that chapter 5. It's called The Scandal.
It's just one chapter.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it appears in other parts throughout the book.
Can you search Perkins on the digital file?
Yeah, let's see if this works.
See what it says about Perkins.
No, not. Oh no, it's not. It's not searching the file. It's just searching the email.
You can't tell Tiger's story without talking about the Perkins waitress.
Because it's the time that I actually started to like him.
It's part of the whole deal.
It showed because porn stars in Vegas, whatever, like get in line. Like
he's not a country club kid. He's every man.
Yeah, but the Perkins waitress is when you said okay.
Yeah.
Because usually, if you assume a guy's taking a private plane, like a celebrity's taking a private plane with his other famous friends, and they're going to Las Vegas, you're assuming they're having sex with people.
Sure.
Like I would think even the wife would kind of assume they're not going out there to just play cards together, like they're going out there to have sex. So like when you heard Tiger Woods, remember originally the stories was like, oh, he had sex with these porn stars in Vegas. And you're like, all right, well that's. I imagine most of those guys do. I would imagine all of those guys
have the means, but this guy had a bad moment. He had a lapse in judgment.
No,
maybe.
But it just showed that he just wanted to get laid.
Yes.
And the Perkins waitress, he said, she came up to the table, and he said, "What's your name?" And she said, "Pam." And he goes, "What's your other friend's name?" Meaning, because she had the thing on her boob.
Oh, okay.
And she says, "What would you like? Would you like a water for the table?" And he goes, "One for me too."
That Mr. Roper smile you do, it's really lost on the radio audience. But you are so pleased with yourself.
The YouTube people are lucky, though, right?
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah. She goes, "Who's my favorite customer?" And he's like, "Hey," and then they would have that rapport, and then he would take her out back by the dumpster.
It was not in the dumpster. It was in his car.
By the dumpster.
Gentleman. Was he parked by the dumpster?
He flung whatever he needed to fling by the dumpster, and it wasn't a condom.
So we'll ask Bob Harig about all of this in about 10 minutes.
You're going to embarrass Hardy in front of Bob Harig.
I'm going to do it? I think between the two of us, you're the leading contender.
Hardy, class this up a little bit. Play the music.
You can ask whatever you want. You're only going to be embarrassing yourself and quite frankly, taking away from what could be. I know this is abhorrent to you, Fred, a pleasurable experience of watching the Masters starting tomorrow.
All right, hang on 1 second. Perhaps he didn't notice the SUV parked across the road. If he did, he wasn't troubled by its blacked-out windows or any nagging hint of familiarity about its presence. In fact, Tiger Woods thought so much as twice about what he was doing. If Tiger Woods thought so much as twice about what he was doing, then Mindy Lawton had no inkling of it as they enjoyed a secret something in Tiger's Escalade 4x4 in a church car park soon after daybreak during a Florida spring. But every move of that alfresco encounter was recorded by a surveillance team of reporters and photographers from one of America's best-selling tabloid magazines.
I don't know what that word is either. I've never seen that word used to describe
Yeah,
some
neither
kind of a
have I.
romantic encounter. Look, he was a man of victory. He was a man of drive.
The unworldly
He was a
Mindy
man of lust.
was easily dazzled and undemanding. She and Tiger met in summer 2006 when Mindy was working as an 8-an-hour manager and waitress at Perkins, a diner only a short drive from Tiger's home in the upmarket Orlando suburb of Windermere. Lynn recalled, "My sister told me they came in regularly."
I think the book probably focuses more on the golf, and if you wanted to limit your questions to golf, he'd probably have more information. But it's
One day, Lynn said Mindy
we can
called
all
in a
ask
state of
whatever we
excitement.
want.
She said that he had called her at Perkins and said, "Hey, this is Teague." That is the pet name he always used for himself. "Will you meet me at Blue Martini?"
Tig. That's it?
I don't know. They're talking about how she can't get in the club. There's a whole lot of stuff. The Perkins waitress, Mindy, with her $8 an hour job and her crimped hair and sassy attitude. The Masters. If he brought her to Augusta, she'd fit right in. There's no question about it. Very different. Oh, but Mindy and the others saw a very different Tiger. Lynn said, "I saw a text from her. He sent to her. One of them said he was dreaming of being, 'Do you want to get laid?' It was crude. There was no mention of love. She said he didn't talk about his wife."
Oh, really? That's weird.
Lynn said he talked very little about anything. She said he never wore condoms. That really broke me up. I was so worried she might catch a disease, especially as I suspected he was promiscuous, but Mindy was in love with him. Yeah. I think she thought he was faithful to her.
Yes, come on. Wow. Ask him whatever you want. I don't care. Do whatever
Porn
you want.
star Holly Sampson and marketing director Kalika.
See, the thing is, Hardy, secretly you do care. You
No,
don't want us
ruin it for me. Ruin my relationship with Mr. Bob Harig, who has been on a frequent contributor to the Sports Hub Golf Club. By all means.
No, I will stay out. I will let you. You are the Masters. I'll let the two experts speak.
I think it's totally fair, though, if you're writing a book about Tiger overcoming obstacles, how many of these obstacles are self-imposed? And I would argue most of them.
Yeah.
The scandal, that's all him. Even the stress fractures in his knee, and that is, it's a great story how he won the 2008 U.S. Open and, was essentially doing it on a broken leg. He was hobbled. Why was he hobbled? Because he'd go on 15-mile training runs in combat boots when literally everyone told him not to, because he had this weird fascination with acting like a Navy SEAL because he wanted
his dad,
because he wanted to be like his dad, who also had a secret family in another state. Whatever caused him to act like that, he acted in ways that brought about, I don't know, most of these things that he encountered. So I don't know. We'll talk to Bob in a few minutes.
All right, Bob will come on, and him and Hardy will have, as Hardy likes to say, chinwag about what's coming up in Augusta.
Then Hardy will get his number and put it right in his phone.
Yeah,
It's already
don't
in the
think
wallet.
don't think it's not already in there. We get to hear Hardy like in all his like. I'm gonna introduce.
You're not going to hear him at all if you don't stop talking. We're late. He's expecting our phone call in 3 minutes, and we're not going to make it because you won't shut up.
This is
Remember
like
to
when we
play
had
the-
Montgomery on.
Play the music during the interview. Very important.
Yeah, of course. All right, we'll be right back. Post haste.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
A bad day for the local teams. Bruins lost to Carolina 4-1 at TD Garden, ending a 4-game winning streak. Andrei Svechnikov picked up a puck with the blade of his stick behind the Bruins net and stuffed it in top corner for one of the Panthers' goals. Pyotr Kochetkov added 22 saves in net. Florida won last night, so the Bruins division lead is 3 points with 3 games left. They're off until Saturday night when they go to Pittsburgh. Celtics were without Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis. They were beaten in Milwaukee 104-91. Jason Tatum 22 points for the Green, and they became the first team in NBA history to go to an entire game without attempting a free throw. The Bucks won the game, but they lost Giannis Antetokounmpo with a non-contact leg injury in the third quarter. The team is saying it's a strained left calf muscle. ESPN is reporting this morning that that's all it is, and Giannis's Achilles tendon is intact. The Celtics host the Knicks tomorrow night. Red Sox lost a lot of things yesterday. They committed a pair of errors and lost a home opener 7-1 to Baltimore. Before the game, the Sox announced Trevor Story has a fractured bone as well as a dislocated shoulder. He'll undergo season-ending surgery on Friday. Also, Nick Pivetta placed on the injured list with a right elbow flexor strain. Sox and Orioles back at it at Fenway tonight, and the visitors have reportedly called up top prospect Jackson Holliday for the game. And the Jacksonville Jaguars have today signed linebacker and franchise player Josh Allen to a new 5-year, $150 million contract, $88 million of which is guaranteed. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by East Coast Metal Roofing, the official roofing partner of the Boston Celtics. Mention 98.5 to Sports Hub and get 10% off your new roof. Visit eastcoastmetalroofing.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 to Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
On the air, online, on the air. This is how Boston sports fans start their day. Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. Our show, as always, is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Bob Harig is a golf writer for Sports Illustrated, an author of Drive, his second book following Tiger and Phil. Bob joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Hello, Bob.
Good morning. How are you?
Bob, sorry to keep you waiting. It won't happen next time. Hopefully you join me on the Sports Hub Golf Club. I'm sure you remember all those appearances, and they were as magical for you as they were for me.
I love it. That's great. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
He doesn't remember.
No, he does not remember, but that's okay. Yeah. So your new book is about Tiger. It's not just about – it does happen to coincide with the 5th anniversary of his Masters win in 2019, but it kind of goes back. And I've started the book, Bob, but is it – how would you describe it? Is it about like obstacles that he's overcome? What did you set out to do this time around?
That's probably a good way to look at it. My original intent was just to do a deep dive on the 2019 Masters. It's been 5 years since he won, and I just feel that might go down as his greatest victory, given all that he had gone through to come back. You know, there was no assurance that Tiger would come back from spinal fusion surgery, and he was at the Masters in 2017. It's 7 years ago. Right now, where he left the Champions Dinner on Tuesday night, he was in immense pain. He told players at the dinner, past champions, that he thought his career might be over. And he was headed to London for this consultation, sort of a clandestine trip to meet with specialists to see what to do. He was at a loss. You know, he was in pain. He needed quality of life. And it turned out that they recommended the spinal fusion, which he had about 2 weeks later. No simple procedure, but a common one. But if you or I or any of us normal, beings had that done, we'd have a hard time swinging the golf club for a year. You know, it's a pretty intensive surgery that, you can't even, you're not even allowed to swing a club for 6 months. You have to be very, very careful with your rehab. And Tiger came back from that. I mean, the following year, he finished second in his 4th tournament back. Obviously, he had a great 2018, and then he went on to win the Tour Championship and then the Masters the following year. But in researching this book, it just sort of occurred to me, this has been his career. The guy's got great talent, obviously, amazing ability. He still does at 48 here at the Masters. The practice rounds, watching him hit shots, it's unbelievable. He still is an elite ball striker. But the difference then was that throughout his career, is he had all kinds of obstacles that he overcame, and sometimes you're just not going to do it on ability alone. You've got to have something else. You got to have a little bit of inner drive, frankly. You don't win the U.S. Open in 2008 with a couple of hairline fractures in your leg if you don't have a lot of will. Yeah. I mean, most people wouldn't have played. He was told not to play. His doctors told him you need to be on crutches, and the guy wins the U.S. Open. And so the book is filled with those sorts of examples.
So this is, where, and I've been a fan of Tiger since '97, and watching him even before in his wins at the Amateur. But as he encountered these obstacles, and it took some years to for me to even gain this perspective. Even I, as a big Tiger fan, have to admit, a lot of these obstacles were his own creation. And is that something that you think about or wrote about in this latest book? You mentioned the hairline fractures he was dealing with in 2008. It's my understanding those were at least in part a result of, some of the training that he was doing, that he was advised against doing. And of course, the other stuff, the scandal things. I mean, these were obstacles of his own creation. Does that change the way you think about it or the way you tell the story?
No, I mean it's all there. You can't ignore the fact that the scandal was self-inflicted. The injuries may or may not have been. We don't know, but yes, certainly he the back problems could definitely have been due to overdoing it in the weight room. We wonder about these things. The Navy SEALs training that he did. There was times when he did that. And Hank Haney talked about that in his book 10 or so years ago, where he thought Tiger was nuts. What are you doing?
Yeah,
Tiger was doing that in the 2006-07 time frame, I think. But he was winning still. He was winning all the time. But could he have done something then that might have altered? That came back to haunt him later. I would say, though, too, that, some of it has been, even if he did overdo that, it's amazing to think that a guy who was so intent on being physically fit and maybe changed the way people thought about fitness in golf ended up being a guy who was hurt so much. I've compared him to Phil. Phil, who was not big on being physically fit in his early part of his career. He later did get that way. He became very, very conscious of training and probably more so flexibility. But, look at Phil. He's about to turn 54. He's still playing with Liv. He still plays. He's not really had the injury issues that Tiger had. He's not missed gobs of tournaments like Tiger did. It's a fair point. And obviously I talk about the DUI Tiger had, which was probably in relation to pain medication he was on after that spinal fusion surgery. And then, of course, the latest accident 3 years ago, the car crash. We don't know what happened there. The police report was very negligent, frankly. It didn't give us the details. They didn't run blood tests. Tiger's never discussed what was going on. He's lucky he didn't kill himself or somebody else. But yet he came back from that to play in the Masters twice and make the cut. So it is a complicated story with Tiger. It's not all glory. There's been a lot of downtimes.
When you mentioned the accident there after the Masters win, I think a lot of people were looking at his chances that year at Augusta, his chances that year on the tour. For me, I look at him getting that one more win. I think right now he's still tied with Sam Snead for the most wins total. He's not. I don't think there's any chance he catches Jack Nicklaus for the majors. But if there is that one win that's lurking out there, do you think that's still within reach for him so that he can add that to his long list of accomplishments?
To be honest, I think he needs to get in a position where he can play a little bit more to get one more win.
Yeah.
And he's also playing the hardest tournaments. You're not competing and you're not getting sharp by playing regularly, and then you come to the hardest tournaments where you're going up against the strongest fields and trying to beat guys that are playing all the time. like if Tiger could get to the point where he could play 6 or 8 times a year, I do think it's possible. I sort of outlined, a pie in the sky scenario in the book where when he turns 50, he plays Champions Tour golf where he could ride a golf cart. And that would allow him to stay competitive without putting the stress on his leg and his back. But he could be hitting the shots inside the ropes, getting nervous, getting in contention, and that might possibly help him when he comes to the Masters or when he goes to the PGA Championship where he does have to walk. In other words, he could do the preparation inside the ropes without having to go through the strenuous walking, which is what always is. It's the reason why we think he didn't play a month ago. He didn't want to risk the Masters. If he's always having to do it like that, I think it's going to be very hard to get another win. A lot has to go right. He has to be feeling good every single day. And, Tiger even admits he wakes up every day and he's not quite sure how it's going to go.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that the toughest thing for him, but it's well documented, and you just talked about it, is not necessarily the hitting of the golf ball. It's walking the course. It's walking the hills. And this week at Augusta, it's a very hilly course. It's a very hilly layout, and people think, oh, these guys are soft. It's 5-6 miles walking around that day over, a hilly terrain, and if you've got one really bad leg to begin with, that could be enough to, put him in a position where he's unable to make the cut, and I'm sure disappoints some people. But the fact that he's there and willing to tee it up still, it's enough to give a lot of people hope, because I think there are plenty of people who still look at Tiger as the reason why they watch golf.
No doubt. I mean, there's a lot I get from some people, why are you writing about him? He's got no chance. I'm like, the interest in Tiger is still off the charts. It's amazing. I mean, the people following him in a practice round here Monday morning, it was more people than a lot of golf tournaments get for an entire week. It's incredible, So, I think Tiger just has a lot of people that want to still see him play, and I think I think there's just intrigue as to how it's going to play out, no matter how good or bad.
Do you want to write a book about how hard he cried when he went into Augusta the first time? Bob Harig. Do you cry every time that you walk into Augusta?
He's been there too many times to cry.
Well, I cry. One time. The first time has to be the first time. It doesn't matter. Oh. All right.
I didn't, but there's no question. It's pretty cool a pretty cool place to come to, no doubt.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really like Tiger and Phil, by the way. I look forward to reading more of your new book, Drive. What I've read so far is fantastic. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Bob. Thanks so much for the time.
Great. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks.
Take care,
Bob.
You okay?
Yeah, good job on that one, guys.
Feel good?
I honest to God, we would have ruined it had we said one word.
Yeah, I've done plenty of interviews by myself.
Well, why did we?
What about Wallach?
Why did we need to be involved with that? This is your thing.
Yeah, John's right here. This was your interview.
This is your idea. You pushed for it. We got him on, or you got him on.
No, you just did it. You didn't push for it. You just did it. It's the Masters. It's fine. But John and I don't know anything about the Masters.
No,
yes,
or
you do.
We
no, I really don't. Someone put Scott Zolak tweeted out a picture of all the champions that were there, and I honestly could name like 5 of them by face. Like anyone who wasn't Nicholas Mickelson, I obviously knew who. And I can't even remember his name. But I like anyone with a beard. I had no idea who they were. Like I knew who
Dustin Johnson.
I knew who the walrus-looking dude was.
Oh, that's Craig Stadler.
Say Craig Stadler.
Yeah.
Craig Stadler.
Yeah.
I knew of Vijay Singh, obviously.
Right.
I don't know if I recognize Fred Couples. I don't. Fred Couples only won one.
Okay,
right?
so the guy with the beard front and center, that's John Rahm.
He won 2. He won last year.
That's
right?
Ben Crenshaw to his left. That's obviously Jack Nicklaus over there on the right.
He looks good.
Gary Player is way over on the left,
Gary
sitting
Player
down.
was. Yeah, he looks good too.
So that guy with the beard is Dustin Johnson. I nailed that one. That's Adam Scott.
Ooh, the great Adam Scott.
That's Zach Johnson.
You know, Adam Scott, I liked him the best on Parks and Recreation.
Dustin Johnson, Wayne Gretzky's son-in-law, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
Why not?
There's Tom Watson there. You don't know Trevor Immelman? Yeah, I mean,
I mean, imagine being at that table and having to remember all those names.
There's Bubba Watson, but there's another beard back there. You don't know who Bubba Watson is?
I've seen Bubba Watson play, but I don't know him by sight. You can name everyone there, right?
A couple of these older guys, I'm not sure because they just look so much different now. I think that's Fuzzy Zeller standing behind John Rahm, but would you immediately be able to tell that's Fuzzy Zeller? I'm pretty sure that's him.
The clan hat told me that...
There's Mark O'Mara. Oh, look at Mark.
Yeah, I couldn't pick him out of a line.
Freddie Boom Boom Couples. Wonderful. Oh, what a wonderful photo.
Isn't Fred Couples like overrated because he didn't win much?
I love him, and I love his swing, and so he's a guy that I really, really like. But if you're talking about naming great golfers, you're absolutely right. You don't need to include Fred Couples in that list because he won a major. He won more tournaments than most guys ever will on tour, but one major championship, and he is revered. And I don't push back on it because I like Couples too, but I tell people, I'm like, he won one major. One. Just relax.
Hardy tells him that, and then he walks away smugly. He's like, watch it, Jack.
One major.
One major.
One major. Jesus.
Nice meeting
what
you.
What are you doing here?
Now I'm going to go to the bathroom. Nice major.
Do you know who Fred Couples' roommate was in college?
A man by the name of Jimmy Nance at the University of Houston.
You know more than you let on, sir. Yeah,
I've made fun of Jim Nance a lot. I do know him. All right, that is Hardy, and Hardy had his interview, and that will be replayed on the golf show, which debuts this weekend.
Yeah, I don't even have to do any editing. I don't have to cut out your parts. That'll be very easy. I just
secretly you were happy we weren't involved.
Can you? Yeah, can you cut that for me? I will replay it.
Thank you. You should.
Secretly, you were very happy you had that to yourself.
I wish I would have known you guys were going to tap out entirely. There wouldn't have been those pregnant pauses where I was waiting for you to jump in with a question.
They just showed the reverence you had for the man. Very good. We will be back with the word-winning email segment in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
the email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. Bob, what's up?
Hey, guys. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Bob.
So, Hardy, you were at the Masters on Monday?
No.
Oh. I thought you went.
No, he just cried when he went the one time.
No, I've been to the Masters once in 2021 on the Saturday round.
Oh, well, good for you. I just came back from Monday's practice round.
That's you just say that. You knew I wasn't there on Monday. You just wanted to rub it in everyone's face that you were there for the practice round on Monday.
Yeah, and you know what else? It was free.
Did you? How was it free?
My son won the lottery.
Oh, I talked to somebody a couple days ago who went with somebody who won the lottery 2 years in a row. Does anyone else enter the Masters draft or the Masters ticket lottery?
I have not.
Okay.
No, I've never done that.
I did it, I don't know,
Oh,
10 years
takes a
straight,
while.
never won.
Yeah, he's been doing it for 10 years, and so hasn't his two friends that came with us. But it's like going to the Vatican. It's the Sistine Chapel of golf, isn't it?
Yeah, keep talking.
Yeah, keep your heretic ways.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're anti-God.
Tell me, what did you feel when you walked through the gates?
Blasphemy, false idols.
Euphoria.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. And then looking at the lawn and the fairways and the first cut.
Were you on acid, Bob?
No, I was straight.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Why?
Well, they wouldn't let you in if you weren't.
You didn't think it was like that?
I thought it was all that and more. And as I've said many times before, and will reiterate now, it is one of the few things in life that not only met but exceeded expectations. The Masters.
Oh, absolutely. It absolutely did.
Yeah, thank you.
It was great. It was great. I enjoyed every moment of it.
I'm glad you did.
The hills were a little tough, but...
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, he's gone?
Yeah, that was enough.
Thank you, Bob. That was a good call.
Joe, he emails in all the time. He goes, the title of this is Everything is Fun with Dan Roach. He says, was it really that much fun washing his baby in the Cooperstown bathroom? Next time, count how many times he says fun. It was literally double digits this morning. And then he emailed back 5 hours later. He used the word fun a total of 8 times. He went back and re-listened to the Dan Roach interview to count the funds.
Well, we'll have a chance to do a live counter when he's here, I think once or twice next week. 2 times, Dan O'Brien was telling me, while Fred is off on another vacation. Hachi-machi.
Here's one from Jesse. It was sent to both of us, you and I, Hardy, not to John. Freddie, you mentioned a bunch of books lately. I'm hoping you'd share them again so I can download the audiobooks. The books I wrote about are available at 985thesportsup.com. They're Please Kill Me, No Effects, Hepatitis, Something in the Hepatitis Bathtub, and The Dirt by Motley Crue. I'm interested in the one with the writer who goes back, and the way they remembered the story was all warped. That's The Night of the Gun is the name of that book. I'd like to listen to them while I'm out working to cover up the noise of all those dang birds outside my window. Speaking of birds, Hardy mentioned Mockingbird Wallach in an email he got earlier this week. It usually happens whenever you're gone. He peacocks, gets all loosey-goosey, and wants to be a cool guy like he's Steven Seagal or something. Statements like, oh, yeah, I've been there. Or, oh, yeah, we had a guy like that. But if you notice, he never mentions any details like names. I'm well-versed in bird law, and I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
Illegal. I love it.
I get it.
Does he get all, like, uppity when I'm gone, Johnny? Or Hardy, does he get, like, start swinging his feathers around?
I don't know how to tell you. I was, you never know. You never know how it's going to go. And that first week you were out, what was it, only a month ago, you took a week off. You're taking a week off next week, a month later. I didn't know how it was going to be because I've never sat here and done a show just with John or John and Joe or anything like that. We had a great week's worth of shows. Was it better without you here? Better, worse. It was really, really good, and I'm looking forward to next week. So, what was John like when you were gone? fantastic. Like the whole show, fantastic. So that's maybe not the answer.
I thought
maybe not the answer you wanted, Fred.
I thought the week with Hardy was delightful.
It really was.
Yeah.
It was good.
Wow, I wish I never asked.
Yeah. Well.
This is a couple hunks. It's from Jack. It
Subject
says,
line is a couple hunks.
Yeah, a couple hunks. The Sox had not Trot Nixon, had Otis Nixon and Willie McGee on the team at the same time, and it had to be the best-looking team in MLB history. You recall Willie McGee called E.T. while at bat for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yep.
Said, that guy looks like E.T.
Not nice. Here's one from Mike. Hey, Hardy, as I told the story earlier about, getting into the game, not all that late, by the way. I thought I was going to miss the first 2 innings. I missed the top of the first. That's all I missed by driving around for 45 minutes looking for a parking space.
The American Pie montage saved you.
Yeah, it really did.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it took me a while. But we started in Back Bay, drove over to Fenway, dropped my wife off, and then I drove around looking for parking. He said, Hardy, did it ever occur to you while going through your horrible Fenway travel extravaganza to leave your car in Back Bay and use your gosh darn legs? We live in one of the most walkable cities in the country. People still choose to drive all over the place rather than walk. I don't get it. Love you guys. There was no parking in Back Bay. That's what Marcy tried to do while she was circling, waiting for me while I was getting my hair cut and getting.
You let a woman do it.
Well, no, she's very capable, much more capable than I am.
No, it's not.
Of finding parking downtown because
I get very frustrated. I won't do it.
I
My
don't go
suggestion
downtown.
to you would have been to take a lift. Kaboom.
So what I did end up doing was parking. Let's just call it Brookline, and I don't mind walking. That's why I do take the T. If I have to go to the Garden, I am much more inclined to take the commuter rail.
Just take
Back
you could take a lift. They'll
Orange
drop you
Line
right
to North
there.
Station.
They'll drop you right off by.
But you're still sitting in traffic. I can't stand it.
Not a ton, and then they can drop you off right by the what do you call it? The baseball tavern or the.
But we already had that. We already had the car.
No, they don't drop you off that close.
Okay, but the lift was not an option. You understand? We already had the car in the Fenway area. The car has to be left somewhere.
You could have parked it like in Cambridge and taken a lift.
Okay, yeah. Next time I'll drive over to Cambridge.
You could have parked
because that's what I want to do.
You could have driven to Brookline.
I would have rather driven home, watched the game on TV, driven back to Fenway, and picked up Marcy and gone back, then drive over to Cambridge.
Well, you did make your son leave the Olivia Rodrigo show before the encore, knowing full well the encore was coming.
I told him what songs he missed.
Yeah.
And he was
I
like,
looked at
Daddy, can we
setlist.fm.
He's like, Daddy, can we please stay? And he's like,
No.
He's like, no.
No.
He's like, you're lucky. And I'm being serious. He's like, you're lucky we stayed this long.
That's pretty much. Thomas O'Malley. Hardy, I need your Vegas burrito spot. What's the name? Write this down because I get asked this probably more than any other question. Roberto's Taco Shop. Probably 15 locations in and around Las Vegas. Oftentimes they will be attached to or even inside a gas station.
Yeah, you put a 20 between your credit card and your license. They'll give you the biggest sweet.
They'll give you a little extra salsa verde.
Yeah, you're not a total a-hole. Hey, Fred, I absolutely love the new show. Both you and Hardy sound rejuvenated. Hardy does sound like he's finally working with some talented people. By the changes, and it really has been terrific. You're also doing a really good job keeping Wallach in check and not letting him get too big for his nest. Thank you. I do have one major issue, and I get this a lot, actually, and I'm not sure you can help me, but I think you need to be aware of. I'm a teacher, so I'm working most mornings between 6 to 10, so I listen to all 4 hours of your show via podcast on Spotify. I realize this may screw up your ratings, and I'm sorry about that, but it's just my schedule. It's fine. You listen away on Spotify. That being said, your sales team has made a grievous error with the podcast. I get this a lot, and I'm sure you guys too. The backstage country ad that runs every break and sometimes twice a break needs to be stopped. Not only is the most grating, irritating, and offensive audio ad I have ever heard, it is also the dumbest idea for a website I've ever heard. This garbage is literally ruining the experience of your show. I don't know if this is a 98.5 sales team issue or a Spotify issue, but this awful ad needs to be stopped. I don't think that can be a 98.5 thing. Something that runs that much, because it doesn't run on our podcast, and I don't think it runs on YouTube. So I don't know how it works on Spotify. The ads run during Felger and Maz replays, too.
All right.
There's an ad that runs in Felger, Mass. It's not one of them reading it.
I find that hard to believe.
Well,
I find that
they've
very,
corrected
very
a little bit of that problem,
No,
but
no, no.
there's still much more work to be done.
Fred, the Sports Hub website still lists your co-host job position is open. Apparently, the Beasley Brass does not like Hardy's job performance.
No, they just got a lot of money. They want to bring in another guy too.
Oh, cool.
They just got a lot of money.
Makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Wallach, please remember this quote when you get passed up for the Celtics job again. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly.
Well, you're not going to get denied the Celtics job again. It's
not
done.
going to get offered.
Yeah.
That's part
Unless
of the problem.
Grandy quits.
Yeah. It's not.
Do you think Grandy will be a part of the Mike Gorman day?
I would imagine he would be in some way, shape, or form.
Would have to be.
I would imagine he would be.
I'll keep an eye on it. Don't worry.
This is from Nick. Tell me you guys have seen this. Someone asked Stephen A. Smith if he would give up sex for a year.
Yeah, I've seen it.
If he meant the Knicks won a championship. He got very animated.
Yeah,
I did not see this.
There's a lot of Stephen A. Smith things we could get to. Maybe we'll get to them this week.
Yeah, I was going to save that for the Slack, but I think there's a couple of things that maybe warrants a little more time.
Yeah, he is being overtly sexual on his podcast a lot, so it's not like the rare diamonds we used to find. It's pretty much all the time.
Leaning into it.
Yeah, he's leaning, and I don't think this show has nothing to do with it, by the way.
No. It's been increased since
Yes,
we started spotlighting.
absolutely.
Oh, hell yes, they listen.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
It's not like we're, doing a podcast out of our bedroom. I mean, whatever. We're on in Boston.
Say what you want about terrestrial radio. I'm telling you, these guys listen.
Well, if we were by playing Feinbaum, we ended up on the Feinbaum show.
Yeah, that wasn't a
I don't
coincidence.
think
Yeah,
it's. And he asked me about what I said about Greenberg. Then I would imagine they're aware of what we do. Go ahead. One last one.
This one from Ashley is a leftover from yesterday. I'm a dedicated P1, but if I hear Total Eclipse of the Heart one more time, I'm going to start running in the streets, screaming at the top of my lungs. There isn't enough meditation or AA meetings to get me through 10 more seconds of that assault on my ears. I love you all, but for the love of Christ, please no more.
What? First of all, did you see the delightful meme of that married up both college basketball and the eclipse? Did you have this? So what it is, Wallach, is it says Eclipse 2024, then it's a cartoon of somebody shooting a basketball that says Women's NCAA, but it is eclipsing and passing in front of the Men's NCAA.
This was in the paper in 1920.
So this
when
was
people read political cartoons.
So this was
George Lasso's The Moon.
a thing that-
Kennedy. He went. Been thinking about this song because the clips. Making fun of how often this is being played.
I think-
and how obviously it's being played.
Wait till you see Caitlin Clark.
This morning, his Achilles tendon is intact, and the Red Sox lost their home opener 7-1 to Baltimore at Fenway Park. Tyler O'Neill, another homer. Same two teams will play again at Fenway Park tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Clear Tide Hydration. Is your office lacking great drinking options? Step up your game with purified water, ice, sparkling water, and even flavored beverages like soda, lemonade, tea, and more. Visit bottle3boston.com. I'm John Wallach.
might possibly have missed from the show. It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
Hey, everybody. We are Toucher and Hardy. This hour of our show is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. The Stack is brought to you by Best Ford in Nashua. Looking for great deals on new Fords? Go to the Best Ford in Nashua. Head to thebestfordnh.com. And as always, now you can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube.
You know what?
Subscribe to keep up to date with all the best moments from Boston's home for sports.
I think today was the first day I didn't log on to the YouTube and peruse some of the comments.
I hope they made you pay. I hope they made you pay in the comments. You want to read some Instagram
Well, I've
comments?
never commented on there, but...
So Nick puts up these videos. I think they're real good. And sometimes I am like a collaborator, so they come up on mine. Peter Grimber says, the obnoxious guy in the Lions head should try having a salad once in a while.
I gotta look at my hat. No, I'm not wearing a Lions.
It was me.
Oh.
Now, why does he not know my name yet? He follows the show on Instagram, huh? You'd think if you follow the show, you'd know my name. And why? Am I fat, guys?
That's just mean.
So thank you, Nick. He sticks up for me. He goes, not very nice. I bet Fred wouldn't appreciate reading that. And you bet correctly, Nicholas. And he says, Peter Gimber, who, by the way, is a lot older than you'd think, says he's a man of about 70. Doesn't that scare you, in all honesty? Don't you think that you've come to some kind of peace and you got something to do? Like when you're 70, that you're not convinced, you're not concerned with the radio.
Yeah.
Says maybe, but I'm wrong. And then I wrote, geez, you think I'm overweight. So if you write something, maybe I write back to you. And then he goes on to say, like most of your quote unquote talent on your station, that guy makes his living by running people down, controversy and negatively sell. He dishes it out 4 hours a day. I'm sure he can take it. So I think he was feeling a little bad.
Boy, I'm going back through some of the comments on the YouTube today just from the last hour or so. This was a good day to not be on there.
Yeah.
They didn't like your interview, did they?
One guy called it a very bad word, but I only saw one comment for it. I wouldn't even say what he said about it.
What did they not like about
It's so distasteful.
What did they not like about what we were doing?
It's a funny comment. I just don't want to say it.
Okay. Crash texted me something, too.
About the interview?
Yeah.
What do you say?
He wondered if you had completed. Didn't want you to be edging. It's not good for you.
All right. I need you guys to tell me what something is.
Yeah. I'm you know me.
Because something called Dude Perfect.
Yep.
Now is a $100 million investment.
It sounds like you can't miss.
High Mount.
That's got to be some Christian situation. They're like sneaky Christian-y.
I don't. Okay.
I don't
what
think it's
is it?
sneaky at all.
It's a YouTube group.
All right. So
that's all I know.
They are like 5 wholesome Christian boys that make trick shots. That's essentially what it is. They do they screw around with ping pong balls and basketballs.
Oh, I've seen it. Okay, I've seen it then. I've seen it.
Yeah. My kids loved it when they were younger.
But there's this hint of when Creed first came out, there's this air of up with people weird Christianity, people that think you're going to hell, those kinds of Christians. Where in all my study of Christianity, can't find any of that. But they've latched onto something I'm unaware of. But they seem. I bet you it's something like Saga Communications or something. That buys all the stations and turns them Christian.
So YouTube
so they don't
group,
have to pay taxes.
Dude Perfect has secured a 9-figure investment from High Mount Capital in a play to build out their business in new areas.
Mm-hmm.
They say
we used to
that
call Shaq's girlfriend.
They said that Dude Perfect, the investment is valued at greater than $100 million. And that Dude Perfect wants to, here's a quote, create more live experiences as well as explore more consumer product opportunities. They have 60 million followers, and
My kids think they're lame.
The
I will
fi-
tell you that.
the-
My kids think that they're dorks.
And the plan is to open a retail store, launch a streaming platform, introduce a line of toys and games in Walmart, and even envisions a $100 million theme park.
So if you think of like how people lose money, like how like people lose money, seriously, like the guy with the company with the 100 million could have just been happy with the 100 million and like invested in the S&P 500.
Put it in one of them Apple savings account, get 5%.
But this
Done.
is going to be a disaster. Like no, it's way too much. They do trick shots, and I'm sure they're a profitable business on YouTube. I mean, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast is actually talented at what he does. But he failed at the pop-up idea. I think he used to have pop-up restaurants and he had to shut them down. This is how money is lost. Like, you overshoot it by so much. Like, they're trying to go Margaritaville on the people, and it's just not going to happen.
But what about them?
Right. It's not a
lends it to
lifestyle.
it?
It's not a brand, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's not something that people identify with. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like my kids think they're dorks. There's no way. I think they're dorks.
You don't see people walking around with Dude Perfect merchandise
Well, that's
anywhere.
about to change.
I mean, but
I don't know if someone at Walmart would buy it.
I don't understand that at all.
No, it just seems like
there's nothing, and you make a good point. There's nothing specific about them you can nail down and go, hey, okay.
Except they're like nice, like clean cut kids.
Great. There are a lot of nice, clean cut kids walking around in this country.
But can they shoot a ball off of
No,
the
they
roof?
can't play one-on-one with Luka Doncic. No, that's true. That's you got a good point.
Can they play with Scal?
But seriously, who wants to advertise their love of Dude Perfect? It's something you might watch and smile at, but you don't want anyone to know you're watching it and smiling at it. You just want to keep that to yourself.
No, it seems like it's a way too mainstreamy thing. If you want to make money in that industry, you got to find it like right away, and like ride the wave up. You can't do it. I mean, that's just throwing money at something.
Yeah,
That is what it is.
60 million YouTube followers feels like it's probably peaked.
Yeah,
Now's not
exactly.
the time to get it.
And it's like you're making your money. Like, look, I take the money too. If they said we want to do all this, I mean, I'll ride it to the grave. But if you looked at it seriously, you'd probably go, you know what? You have a profitable business right now. You're making this amount of money on YouTube. We might try to, cross something up. It's like this show getting syndicated in the Northeast. It never made any sense. It was just doing something to do it. Like, this is what you do. This is what you make. Have fun. Like you're not Jimmy Buffett, because think of how many brands turn into a theme park, a brand of clothes, toys, and stores. I mean, how many things in your lifetime? And then how many things have lasted that have been like that?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about like Garbage Pail Kids, Cabbage Patch Kids. I mean, it doesn't last. You got to catch that on the way up.
Remember the Hubba Bubba theme park? That was a good one. You could have a gum fight and walk down the streets.
I remember Circus World, where my grandmother used to tell me she was taking me to Disney World, and tell my parents she was taking me to Disney World, and then we'd go to Tampa instead. We'd make a right instead of a left on the highway and head on out to Tampa to Busch Beers, Circus World.
Yeah, I went there. Jim Harbaugh is making some changes in the locker room. According to the Chargers Unleashed podcast, the coach.
I like the Chargers Caged Up podcast. I like it when they're not so crazy.
The coach added each player's recruiting level from high school to their nameplate above their locker, which goes from not ranked through 5-star. The message probably is twofold. Ideally, the players who were highly ranked out of high school will see their rating and want to live up to it. Players who are not ranked or didn't receive much recognition feel motivated to continue proving their doubters wrong. So this is an NFL locker room where he's going to put their high school recruiting rating above their names.
I thought they were motivated by money. But that seems as good as anything. All right, Scotty Z's here. That'll do it for us.
What was your recruiting level? Were you a 3-star, 4-star? What were you, 5-star? What were you? It was 5-star.
5-star, going to Maryland.
Number 2 kid come out state of Pennsylvania, buddy.
Who was number 1?
Major Harris.
I remember Major
West
Harris.
Virginia.
West
Yeah.
Virginia.
Eddie McCaffrey was number 3.
And now look at Eddie McCaffrey. He's living off his kids.
Jesus. Did you see the young one?
No.
Youngest one tested out? He might be better than Christian.
Oh, boy. All right. That'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day. Bye.